Zoning Board of Appeals. Today is Tuesday, January 20th, 2025. I'm going to call the meeting to order. If you would join me, start the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all.
Mike, but it's 2026.
Oh, 2026, sorry, I'm still in last year, thank you. It's gonna take a little while. That's why you don't write checks. All right, so, other housekeeping matters, making sure we're on the right date, is emergency exits are off to the side. Also, you can use the exits that you more than likely used on the way in. Restrooms are out in the lobby area. If you haven't done so already, there is an attendance sheet in the back. There's also some business cards as well as email and contact information for the planning board. There are also on the back table proposed resolutions along with the agenda. If you haven't done so already, cell phones, either silence or turn them off, please. And if you need to have any conversations that don't specifically relate to the ongoing hearing, please take it out in the hallway so as not to disturb the hearing itself. As far as each hearing that we have, what we generally do is we allow the applicant to make their presentation. Sometimes there are exhibits. If you want to use an exhibit that you have given us, just let myself or Susie know, and we will get them popped up for you. If it's a new exhibit that we don't have, that's fine. Let us know, and we will mark it accordingly. Other things, Amber over here is taking the minutes for us, so let's take our time and not talk over each other. If we talk over each other, it makes it difficult to create a record, meaning that she'll listen to the information and the recording and she'll type up the minutes for us, but if we're talking over each other, it makes it hard. So take our time. If you are using an exhibit, whether it be a new one or an old one, let us know. If it's new, we'll mark it accordingly. If you're using an exhibit, do your best to use compass directions, also structures. Avoid saying, if you notice over here, notice over there, that doesn't translate well with the minutes itself. If you start doing that, I'll slow you down a little bit and remind you that this is how we would like to have it done. There's going to be some questions and answers. We'll give you the opportunity to make your presentation. The board will ask you some questions. The reason we're asking questions is we need to find some facts that are necessary in making a determination on whether or not a variance is granted or denied. We're going to do our best to ask relevant questions, right? That's why we're asking them. So trying to take offense to it, these are important questions for us. If you have questions for us, we'll do our best to answer them as well. I think we'll may find other things. We certainly can address them along the way. Don't think I've forgotten anything, so let's move along. The minutes, December 1st, 2025. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review. If you're ready, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve?
You, second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Great. All right. First is the resolution review of Good Life Collective. Anyone here for that? How are you?
Good evening, Chairman. Francis Gorman from Harris Beach. I'm here with my client, Philip Mello Enterprises, LLC, and Morgan Todd from the landlord.
Great. So I don't think we really need to go into a deep dive again. I think all we really needed to do here was make sure the resolution is sufficient and as tight as possible that addresses all the issues. And in some, the primary issue that we had here was even though the local law had stated one thing, that the state law superseded what the town of Victor's local law was, and hopefully we've addressed that. Did you have an opportunity to review
I have.
resolution. Any comments, questions, concerns about how it's written, how it's drafted?
I had some nits, but I may have gotten those over to your town attorney a little late. And then there was a new case that came out at the end of December that supports the case law that we provided earlier.
I don't have any communication from our town attorney, so let's walk through your thoughts and see if we can all get on the same page.
Sure. Let me just, hold on one second. Yeah, just in the first paragraph, it talks about the applicant being Philippe Melo, and I just inserted, it's actually Philippe Melo Enterprises LLC, DBA Good Life Collective.
Just waiting for Amber, she's jotting a note, so. Okay, we're good? What's next?
The justification for the second part of the five-factor test, the benefits sought by the applicant can or cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance.
This is 1B you're looking at?
This is 1B, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, it's all accurate, but one of the cases that was cited was actually appealed to the appellate department and was sustained on appeal, and then there was a case that was handed down on December 24th, 2025. I mean, so it's, but it's fine. I mean, it was, that was fine. It's just, it's more cases since our last meeting that have come out in support of our position.
The case that you're referring to, it was well, let me back up. It's the town of Riverhead case?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, if you want, I have a red line.
Great. There we go. All right, is this our copy, or do you want us?
You can have that copy.
Okay, great. So that's going to make Amber's job, I think, a little bit easier, citing all these cases. Great, all right. We can, so for the board's knowledge here.
It's just like an additional case.
Yes, it
Right, they're
stands
additional
for the same
cases, and
proposition.
they're accurate citations to the previously cited case.
I'm good.
Okay? All right, continue?
And then I think that the distance between the entrances of the stores is, instead of 2,100, it's actually 2,142 feet. Which,
Oh, got it. That would be in section
C, isn't it?
C,
On the
and-
third page at the top.
right, and the justification, so you'd like it to be 2,142 feet.
correct.
And there's a few other, which you have blue lines, is the accurate name of the company.
The applicant, yes.
Okay. Great, all right. Since you are saying it's okay for us to have this, let's mark this as Exhibit A. We'll date it. Today is January 20th, 2026. That work for you?
Yes,
Amber, we're all set. All right, anything else?
that is it.
All right, does the board have any comments, questions, concerns about the resolution as amended by the applicant's attorney?
No.
All right, we're all set? All set?
The
Okay.
only thing I have is, that it still says
Oh,
can/cannot.
right, let's fix that. So let's go back into justification 1B. And I think it's best to put then, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method. Satisfactory?
Yes,
All right, and then to 1C is not substantial. 1D will not have an adverse effect. or impact. And then E is, it is not self-created. And I think there is on, if I'm looking at that same page, just beneath, it looks like it's paragraph 2, there is a subsection A, and I that might just be a stray mark. So let's take that out. All right, any other comments, concerns from the board?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I may have missed this when you did it. We're changing the name under decision also to the legal name of the applicant, right?
Yeah, we have that in
Okay.
the
I missed
draft
it
that the attorney has provided for us.
Okay.
You want to take a peek at it?
Nope.
Okay.
I just couldn't remember if we did that one or not.
Okay, we're good. Anything else? I'm going to ask it for formality. Anybody from the audience, public, want to speak for or against the application? All right, good. Hearing none. I would entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Okay, a second.
Second.
You, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Thanks so much.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
your patience. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, we're good so far? All right, FLX Dog. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Good evening. Happy New
Evening.
Year.
Just for a quick review for the board's knowledge, we met in December.
We did.
Don't have the date off the top of my head, but we met in December with Adam and Keith and had a casual conversation. The primary goal, what we were trying to figure out is, what does that lease agreement look like?
Right.
And if, Susan, could you pull up the aerial of FLX Dog, just so that we're all on the same page? Oh, yep, no, that was fine. So this is, I think we're in agreement, a very unique parcel.
Yes.
What is in yellow is one building. The building to the right is separate, and those are two separate tax ID numbers. And then there's a third, which is the parking lot area.
Correct.
And our line of questioning that we had in previous meetings was, what kind of agreement, formal agreement, does your company have with the parking lot? Because right now you're on,
Yes.
I think, it's a third of an acre of use, and you need 2 acres. And what we were looking for is, if you had a formal agreement that says, yes, you can use that property, I think that puts a different light into what we would need to look at. And I think you provided that information for us. There is a lease agreement. You are permitted to use it. And for whatever reason why they decided to do it that way, it's not quite your problem. What we need is the agreement that you provided for us.
Yes.
And there's
Which,
also, I think it's January 7th, 2026, the owner of that parcel, the parking lot area, has no objection to FLX Dog using that property in the operation of a day school kennel service, as they indicated. This would be Patricia McMillan.
Yes, and that would give us a total of 4 acres.
Yep. All right. So with that, anything you want to add before?
I do. Actually, there's a lot I want to add, but I'll cut it down in the essence of time.
Oh, it's important.
We've done a lot since the last meeting. Not necessarily inside the building, which I did include some pictures so you guys can just kind of see what we've done inside and what a dog training facility actually looks like or should look like. What else we've done is we had our open house, invited the community, and we are very proud at how many people from the community came, showed up, and actually supported us. We had over 250 people come through. We did Christmas photos with their dogs and with their children, provided it all free of charge, of course, so that we can kind of get people walking through to see exactly what it is we're doing. Something else that we've done is we hooked up with 4-H, their dog focus group. brought in a group of children, kind of teach them what we do and different things that you could do with your dogs, not necessarily on the fitness side of it, but just career choices. Dog trainers, you know, everyone doesn't have to be a veterinarian. There's a lot of other things you could do within the dog community. We brought in a group of folks from Wayne Finger Lakes BOCES for a career day for their animal services program. It was very well attended. It was, they were thrilled. They actually reached out to other BOCES and recommended that they also come through the program. This is all free of charge. It's all for the community, just to bring them in and show them what it is we're doing. Victor High School, something I found interesting, there's a group called the Harlem Wizards. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm sure you've all heard of the Globetrotters. It's the Globetrotters farm team. And what they do is you can sponsor them to come in and play your local high school teams, which we did. So we were a sponsor of that. It actually just took place Thursday of last week, and it was fantastic. Pretty cool to watch, pretty cool to see, and the community really rallied around it, and they loved it. Something else too is we have our very first radio advertising that's going to be actually tomorrow, and pretty excited about that. It's a 20-second spot. I did bring it with me, but I won't play it unless you absolutely insist. But it's just pretty much says, you know, that what we do is dog fitness with folks as well, teach them how to handle their dogs, introduce them to different games they could do with their dogs, and just the more time you spend with your dog, the better it's going to be for both you and your animal. And that's kind of what we're doing. So what we're looking for is our dog day school. I myself don't like to call it a kennel. I understand that's what it has to be called because we're not housing anybody overnight. Trust me, that's not something we want to do or ever will want to do. But we do like to bring the dogs in, and they could spend a couple hours with us, they could spend a day with us, whatever it is. And hopefully it's a benefit to their owners as well. That's why they bring them. So that's kind of just a little bit in a nutshell what we've done since the last meeting. And like I said, it's we're very community oriented, and so far we've been welcomed with open arms.
Super, thanks.
Thank you.
You want to start? You want me to go that
Sure.
way?
No, I can.
Go ahead.
I actually am ultimately okay. The question I have is just confirming that fence. It's going to be on the.
Let's scratch the fence. There's really no need for us to have a fence. What it is we thought it would be a great addition to the property, but our dogs do not, the dogs that we bring in, they do not go outside by themselves. They're not off leash ever. Even within the building, a lot of times they're on leash depending what type of training they're having. If they are able to be off leash, they are. The only time they go outside is when they're on leash to potty, go to the. Other than that, that's it. So as far as the fence goes, we could scratch that.
Okay. Well, yeah. My only question was, is it on the parcel that you're renting from? But if it's
It would have been,
Okay.
yes, it would have been on a grass portion. Yep, that's where our entrance is.
Okay.
But we honestly found that there's no need for it because even, we're not doing the dog school, the dog day school now yet. But even the other dogs that we do have coming in for sports and stuff, never is a dog off leash. So there's really no need for a fence.
okay. Well, then I don't have any other questions.
Okay, Leah?
And that was one of my questions about the fence and the fenced areas, so that's out. What are your hours of operation?
If I had to actually put hours on it, I would say probably 6 in the morning till 8:30 at night.
Okay.
Now, there may be times where somebody, hey, I have to be in early, could you guys be there at 5:45 or something like that? So, to be perfectly honest, though, it's usually 6 to 8.
Okay. And just bear with me a second. I
Please,
just want
please take your
want
time.
to see my notes from last time. So, and as you said, you won't have any dogs overnight, just if people
No.
want to bring them in for an hour or two or all day to train, because you're going to be doing training in there.
Yes.
You know, you as the
Yes.
owner of Flex Dog,
Yep.
you will be training
Yes.
them.
My wife is a certified trainer. We also have a certified behavioralist on staff. For any dogs, that might have issues if they're scared or, if they're really don't like to be around other animals, something like that. We do have professionals that are on staff. Right now, they're part-time. Hopefully, they will move to full-time. But yes, so never are they alone, we don't even leave them in there to run to the store and get a cup of coffee. We do not do that, no.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have for now.
Great, thank you.
Larry?
Mr. Chairman, I'm having a difficulty trying to find the document that you were referring to from the people who own the 4 acres.
I
The
brought
parking lot.
copies. If I could approach, I'd be more than happy to give you one.
Probably be easier for me digging them out.
Yep, let's-
Was it in the packet?
It's on the side. So it wasn't in your packet, it was set aside.
That side?
Would you like a copy?
Please. So this basically is not an agreement with the owner or FLX and thing. This is just
Yes.
a letter. This is not an official document of any sort.
It's an official agreement between us and the lady who owns the land around the building. Like was explained earlier, it's kind of a weird, strange mix. You have Hadlock's Paints, in between there's going to be another business, and then we are on the end. The building itself sits on 4 acres. We have full 110% access to the entire 4 acres, without a question.
There's a reciprocal easement, access easement. I believe you foiled a copy of it. It was 70-something pages. I don't think we have that in this packet, but there is a legal document that allows the owners of this parcel to access the building through the parking lot area.
Yes.
I just don't think a copy of that document, it was pretty cumbersome.
I actually have it with me.
There you go.
Double-sided, 70 pages, and I read it word for word, so, yes.
So, Larry, I think what we could do for, whether it be yours or comfort of the board, is to make it a condition that as long as that easement agreement exists, allowing FLX to, or any tenant really, is to use that building and access and use the parking lot, as long as that exists, then I think we can consider granting the variance. But if that lease easement is non-existent, which I don't know how that could happen, then those buildings would be landlocked.
Right.
Well, they could sell. I mean, the land,
Could, sure, they could.
and lock everybody out.
I don't think you could sell in New York State and have a landlocked parcel.
Right.
I think the lease, or the reciprocal easement also discusses the transfer of property and how it does not
Okay.
eliminate the easement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions.
Right, okay. Matt?
I'm okay with it. I don't have any
All right.
issues with it.
So, I got just a couple of things regarding the county planning board's comments, and it had to do with the proximity of the wetlands that are nearby, and then it led into the disposable animal waste. Did you look at that at all, or?
It did not.
All right, what's your plan then for disposal of the animal waste?
We have 1, 2, 3 different receptacles that have dog bags built into garbage cans, and then that goes with us when we leave the facility. Well, not every day, of course, but, yeah.
All right, so,
Chairman, real quick, do have one question.
go ahead.
Do you have a layout for the inside, number of kennels that you would actually have, how many total dogs you'd be bringing in for the day school?
We have a
portion?
total of 20 kennels inside, and our plan is to bring in no more than 5 for day school, 5 dogs.
Okay.
And the reason we have 20 kennels is because we have a sport called fly ball that we do, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I encourage you to Google it. It's amazing to see.
I have seen some of the videos.
Okay,
like
if
the
you ever
dog
want to
trail.
come to the building and check it out live, it's a wow factor, it really is. But anyway, at times, we will have up to 8 dogs in there because there's 4 dogs per team, 2 teams. So So that's why we have that many kennels.
Okay. Should we include that then in the resolution? Limit the number of overall?
So the number of kennels being 20 and the max, you're saying the maximum amount of dogs at any one time is 5?
No, I'm saying for the days,
understood.
for the day school, we're looking at 5 to 6 dogs, yep. When we do fly ball, though, there's more dogs in there than 5 or 6.
Okay, so back to the animal waste.
Yes.
If the board grants the variance, that as far as the animal waste, is that it will not be disposed on the property.
Absolutely not.
Take it off the property, and
Correct.
so that should then check the box as far as any concern of any kind of contamination to wetlands, however close that they are.
Yes.
And then a condition that a reciprocal, and would you call it an easement, a reciprocal easement, or a reciprocal lease?
I think it's an easement.
All right.
It's probably noted on the front page of the document that he has. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. That
Is it
the,
filed with the county?
Yes.
Would you like it?
that the reciprocal easement, okay.
Reciprocal easement and operating agreement. It was filed in 1989.
Okay. That reciprocal easement and operations agreement dated in 1989 is a condition to the granting, if the board decides granting of the area variance. Okay?
Yes.
I think that's all the questions that I have. Any other questions before do you have
I
some?
want to straighten something out.
Please.
You said earlier that you didn't need the fence because all the dogs would be on leashes. What do you need kennels for?
Because when they're inside, if we have more than one dog, we don't want them being with each other.
They'll be in the kennel with a leash?
Yeah, no, they're in the kennel. Yep. Kennel, so they're going nowhere. When they come out of the kennel, they're leashed. They go through their training. If they're by themselves, we'll take them off leash within the building, go through their training. When they're done, they go outside, do what they have to do on a leash, back into their kennel. Next dog will come out.
Okay, just trying to understand.
And there's different types of training that we do as well, because different types of dog comes in. So, yep.
Okay. Suzie, anyone from public for or against this? No comments. Good. Anyone from the public want to speak for or against the application?
I
Okay.
have one more question
Go ahead.
about this resolution.
Yep.
Can we limit it just to this company? Because I know the variance will continue, but what I don't want to necessarily happen is we approve a variance for a kennel for this unique operation, and then a kennel buys it, and they're already varianced.
I think because of what we've, this will be our third time we've met and discussed what
Yes.
this is about, and I think we've really fine-tuned to a very specific niche of what they'd like to do. If by some chance they move out, it would run with the land. And if someone else wanted to come in and, let's say, have dogs overnight, I think we can easily say, no, that's not what we granted, because we specifically talked about one of the factors being there would be no overnight stays with the dog. It would be primarily a training facility. So once it starts to look to something other than what they're asking for, I think whether we're on the board or some other board can point to it to say, now, I guess pun intended, it's a different animal, a different variance.
Yes.
I couldn't help myself. It
No,
came
that was good, actually.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, are we ready to move forward? All right, let's go through then some criteria and justifications. First, an undesirable change would not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by the granting of an area variance. First, The parcels indicate there are 3 separate parcels in this particular area. There's one building which Hadlocks primarily has control over, and then there's another building that's a separate tax parcel, which the applicant is only going to take partial domain over. And then there's a parking lot area. And we've discovered that in 1989, this parking lot area, there is a reciprocal easement and operation agreement allowing the tenants of both buildings to use the parking lot. While the applicant, the demise premises is about 1/3 of an acre. If they couple that together with the parking lot, it would be in excess of 4 acres, and thereby addressing the concern that the current code has that kennels need to be on. Another aspect is there is community support for this. It would be used as a primary training center. There would be no overnight stays of dogs. It has been indicated that while there are 20 kennels, there is typically 5 to 6 dogs there during the day. The applicant has indicated they would be responsible for disposal of the animal waste, taking it off-site, and thereby protecting any wetlands that are at or about the area. Is there anything else I missed or would like to be added to the first criterion, the justifications? All right. Second, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Indicated in the first criterion justification, it is a unique piece of property given that there are 3 tax parcels. And since there is an agreement, a reciprocal easement and operation agreement, allowing the tenant to use the parking lot area, I can't think of any way that the applicant can pursue other than granting an area variance. Would anyone like to add anything to the second criteria and justification? Third, the area variance is not substantial. Rationale being that with everything that we said in the first justification, but I think one of the primary issues here is that there is that reciprocal easement and operation agreement. Anything to be added to the third criterion justification? Fourth, the proposed variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. The primary concern that I think the board has would be the disposal of animal waste, and the applicant has indicated that they would be responsible for removing the animal waste from site. Would anyone like to add anything or comment on the fourth criteria? Fifth, the alleged difficulty is self-created, but that in and of itself does not mandate a denial. I would propose that as a condition or conditions that the applicant must remove the animal waste within a reasonable period of time and not dispose of it on site, and that as long as that 1989 reciprocal easement and operation agreement is in place, that the FLX dog training facility may operate under the proposed variance. Anyone like to comment, add?
Do we want to limit to the 20 kennels, or did they mention it in the minutes? Good enough?
If you, I don't know if that's necessary. We have, it's in the finding of facts.
That's fine then.
Okay, we're good? Everyone good? All right, I would entertain a motion for approval with the conditions laid out.
Move to approve.
Mary, a second.
Second.
That was Leah, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Thanks so much for your time and patience.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Okay. One sec. All right, Phoenix Mills.
Good evening, Chad Flansburgh for the applicant Phoenix Mills. So I have a couple of demonstratives that I thought could be helpful for the board to consider. First is a picture of the pergola with the backdrop of the plaza, and I could walk that up to you if you would so like. And we also have over 200 signatures from patrons of Phoenix Mills Plaza that were there to enjoy the plaza and the restaurants there and had an opportunity to take a look at the pergola and the lighting and expressed their desire for this variance approval. I have the letter that was provided with the petition and then the signatures of these individuals, if I could bring that up.
Can I ask you, while you're doing that, can I ask you a question about the signatures?
Yes.
Are they residents of Victor? Wait, we can't do that, all right? Either you got to come up to the microphone, and only because we can't hear you, and Amber can't hear you, so just the
I don't know.
microphone.
Most of them are, I think. I didn't look at every address. It's all tenants or patrons of different places in the plaza.
I understand they're patrons.
Their addresses are all on there.
Got it. Thank you. That helps. Go ahead, continue while we're looking at this.
I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I understand that one of the questions posed was, there was a comment that people in the area, in the Victor area, liked the pergola, liked the lighting, and the board was looking for some support for that. So that's what we endeavored to do with putting out a letter and gathering signatures to show that, one, from an objective measurement, we don't believe there's any substantial change because if it is a commercial plaza, there is lighting in the parking lot. It's low-level lighting pointed down. It doesn't affect passers. It actually reduces tripping hazard in the area. So we think from the zoning board factors that mitigates this and supports approval. But at the same time, we did want to show that there is a community interest and support for this.
All right, so, thank you. I think somebody on the board is going to ask, so I might as well just ask you. Address the hurdle of the original application as it came in. There was an indication there will be no lighting or signage. And I think each one of us at some point has asked that, and now your applicant wants to do a 180. So if you could address that and maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, the zoning official did address it. There was a violation notice, I understand. The lighting was taken down. And ultimately, we're here to seek approval of that lighting. We are asking the board to consider the application on the factors, absent the violation. We do believe that the lighting is of benefit. It benefits the plaza. It it reduces any tripping hazard there, and it also makes it more aesthetically pleasing. Without the lighting, there is sort of a black hole, and with the lighting, and it's a very common feature into pergola, we believe it does benefit the plaza aesthetically, and the patrons did express support for it.
Can I go?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, tell me a couple of things. When were the names gathered if the lighting came down? If the lighting came down when the violation was done, when were the names, when did they see the lights?
They saw the lights on that picture.
So-
Somebody has it.
so
I wanted them to see what it looks like. So I put a picture and an easel in every tenant's space with the letter, explaining it to the tenants, the people that are in space, and said, here, can you let your tenants or your patrons know that come in here if they like this pergola and the lights? And one, and here it is, and this is what it looks like. There is no lights there. You guys have seen that there is no lights on there. I don't know if you pass by there often, but the lights were taken down as soon as you asked me to take them down.
So it's
Adam,
all
you know.
representation?
It's all it's that picture,
they
somebody
didn't-
has it. Where did it go?
There is a
Nobody saw the lights?
Nobody saw the lights besides in that picture.
Yeah, that was the demonstrative I handed up was, and let me explain this so the board has full understanding of what it was, is that there was easels placed in the various establishments that are located in the plaza, asking them if they supported it, what they saw, would they join in the application that we're making. So that demonstrative that's going by depicts the lights and the decorations that were there as well. And there was a cover letter that accompanied that easel and that presentation. It acknowledged that it went beyond what was approved, and it discussed the lighting and the decorations, and again, was just trying to gauge community support of that.
Okay. So then you said it helps with the tripping hazard. So are individuals going to the pergola?
Well, ultimately, there is curbing there, so they should not, but you know how people are when they, ultimately, it is a grassy area, there are shrubs there, that was part of the approvals. So one of the I think one of the benefits of the lighting is it does provide further illumination of the parking and that grassy area.
But without the pergola, prior to having a pergola, there was no lighting?
There is no lighting, there's lighting in the parking lot, there's lighting on the plaza itself.
Right.
There is a flag, so there is lighting there, so there is a precedent of a lighting being in the grassy area for that flag, ceremonial flag, the ceremonial lighting, so there is lighting in that area.
Help me understand where you think the tripping hazard is.
The tripping hazard?
Yeah.
Well, there's grass, and anytime that people are walking in unilluminated area, it presents a tripping hazard.
But there's still, light is still there for the flag, right?
Yes, there is, I'm sure you've seen
Okay, so
military
there's as much
posts,
light as there
there's a
was-
dedicated light that illuminates the flag. That illumination, does provide some illumination, but certainly this pergola provides more. And again, I don't think the real benefit of the lighting is for that feature. It's primarily aesthetic. There was a dark hole there, and it just ties it together aesthetically.
Okay.
But it does have that benefit.
I would like you to answer the chairman's question again, knowing that what I think we were asking is, we were told specifically at the first variance that there would be no lighting. Okay, and I don't think you've addressed that issue of, okay. Help us get from the point of reason, part of the reason that was approved was there would be no lighting. And it's in the minutes, it was promised, and now we're coming back, and we want something completely different. Help me with that.
Well, you are right. That's in the minutes. That was the promise. We're here today because ultimately there was design decisions made that put up the lights. Now, that should not have been done without first coming back here. And for that, I apologize. But that's the situation we're in. And I think that certainly there was a violation notice, and there is a process in the town if there is some non-conforming feature for that violation process to go through, and that occurred and the lights are down. We're now here to ask permission to put the lights up. And I'd ask that the board consider that on the factors for that. And ultimately, what we tried to show is that there is community support for this. It does enhance the appearance of the plaza. And Mr. Hendler, the operator of the plaza here, his intention is to make this look good for Victor and for his business owners there. People drive by, they see it, it's appealing, and he tries to draw them in for everybody.
Okay.
That was ultimately what the goal was, and I certainly apologize that there wasn't an application brought before doing that. That is wrong, and that's why we're here, to correct it.
But your client was okay with just the pergola when they came. They got the variance for the pergola without the lights. Would you agree that the overwhelming community support was semi-solicited? You know, I mean, obviously, you went out to find it. It wasn't a whole bunch of people just walking into your client's establishment saying, oh, God, I wish we had lights here.
Well, in fact, they did walk into the establishment. That is what occurred.
But they didn't go in specifically to tell you that they missed the lights in the pergola, because they didn't know there were any lights in the pergola.
Well, no, they did know that, because at the time, there were no lights. And when they signed the petition, there was no lights, so they knew there was no lights. The cover letter in the petition, as you'll read, makes clear that they went beyond their approvals. That's called out in the letter. That was part of the presentation, that they went beyond the approvals. We're going to go back to the town. We're going to try to get approvals for the lights and the decoration. So that was called out. They made those people specifically aware of that. And again, you're absolutely right to be angry, upset. It was wrong to do it the way it was done. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to accomplish is something that we feel is the best for the plaza and the look and the features of that area.
One more question, and then I'll get off the thing. Do you think that your client's business will be negatively affected because there are no lights in the pergola?
I do. I'm actually live in Victor myself. I go to Phoenix Mills quite often. I did have the opportunity to see the lights there and without, and I think it is substantially better with lights. So my belief is that it will be adversely impacted. I think the lights, especially in the nighttime where I often go there with my family, I think it is hands down, it looks much better, it's aesthetically pleasing, and I think it's often what pergola has. It is the lighting to give it that professional look.
All right. You indicated, and it was your words, that Larry was angry. You have every right to be angry. And I don't, because there is nothing else other than the minutes, and if that's in there, it's going to reflect poorly, I think, on Larry's, I think, pointed, I didn't find him angry, just pointed questions.
Sure,
So
and I
let's-
apologize for saying angry. What I meant is when a board gives a resolution and it's not followed, there's frustration created by that. I certainly understand it. The owner understands it. We've had conversations how it wasn't the right way to do things, and that's why we're here today, to try to make it right.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
And I don't know if I got you. Are you counsel for the applicant?
Yes, Chad
Okay.
Flansburgh, counsel for
Thank you. All right. Leah, questions,
Phoenix
comments,
Mills.
concerns?
Okay. So this, I looked over the drawings and the signatures, and so this letter that you included there, that was the letter that you posted at the establishments?
I didn't personally post it, but it was
Not you,
posted, yes.
but your
The
client
applicant.
posted, okay.
Yes.
So the letter did state that you wanted to put lights in, and that you received town approval to install the pergola on the front lawn, and, with the flower and shrub displays. But in that paragraph, nothing is stated that the approval that was granted specifically stated no lights.
I think it
So
does
maybe-
speak in the letter that when it references going above and beyond.
Well, it specifically doesn't say that, because I think that can, if people knew it was approved, specifically stating no lights, because at the last meeting, I know you weren't here, but Larry and I both did state that we probably would have not approved it if lights were going to be installed. we approved it as is, and I will say again, like I said last time, I think the pergola looks a lot nicer than I originally thought it did. So I'm not against that.
If I could just respond to that, the third paragraph says, "We acknowledge that we went beyond the original approval by adding seasonal decorations and overhead lighting." So I think they did specifically call that out.
Yeah.
In addition, the patrons had the benefit of seeing it in the picture with the lighting versus what it was outside unlit. So I don't believe, in all due respect, that there was any misrepresentation by the applicant relative to getting these signatures. In fact, again, what he's trying to do is make things right. He's trying to get the approval the right way this time, and that's what we're here for. And again, there's 200 signatures that have said, yeah, it looks good. And, certainly there can be subjective disagreement on whether lighting is good or bad, but I think on the record here, there is substantial input that it does look nice.
Well, now that you brought up the signatures, and I'll get back to this letter, I'm very good at math. I looked at every page when Larry was talking. I would say about a quarter of the signatures have no address, and then half of the other ones that have an address are not in Victor. And if I went to count all of them, I'm not going to do it now, but I can say my number's going to be pretty close, because I looked at that. So that, yeah,
30 of them actually said Victor. 30 out of 200.
out of 200, okay.
Now, granted, there's a bunch that don't have in it the town in them, but only 30 of the 200 are from Victor.
Fair enough. Again, the intent was to show that there is community support. The people that go to Phoenix Mills Plaza are typically from the Victor Farmington area. Does that mean people from Canandaigua or Brockport or Spencerport or East Rochester go there? Of course they do. But we all know, we all live in this community. The primary patrons of that establishment are the Victor Farmington area. So again, there's no intent to make any representations here. We try to gather those signatures to meet the board's question of whether there was community support for this.
And I'm not challenging that. I'm just trying to get the facts out. You said you have 200 signatures. Only 30 of those signatures say Victor. This is the Town of Victor Zoning Board of Appeals, not the Town of Farmington Zoning Board of Appeals. We're talking about Victor. Okay? I'm I understand. I just want to make sure that it says in the minutes that even though you have 200, only 30 of them said Victor.
Thank you.
Excuse me, may I say something? Everybody knows who I am, Wendy. I believe at the last meeting, you told me, bring people or find out who likes this, because I said, people like the lights. And you said, find the people. You didn't say, find the people from Victor. You just said,
Okay.
find the people that likes the lights, and I said, okay. So I tried to figure out the easiest way to get the word out there, show people what it looked like, show people what we were trying to do. So I set things in every tenant's, and of course, all tenants couldn't be here, but you're welcome to talk to the tenants, or I can have them write a letter that they did have those papers and those signatures in their places. Some people got a lot of signatures, some people didn't get as much. And yes, not everybody is from Victor on there. And unfortunately, at the beginning, I didn't know that the address needed to be on there, so I said if they put their address, it's okay. And then I thought later, as I talked to Chad, he said, you really need to put addresses on there, so, it looks very legit that these are the people. Some people are a little funny about giving their address, so I said, you don't have to put your house number, but at least your street or something.
Right,
So
right.
I really tried to do what I could, as
Right.
best as I could.
As counsel for the applicant should know that in this kind of process, providing relevant information is important. To go get somebody from Parrington, Canandaigua, or wherever, those really aren't relevant.
But I didn't-
Let me finish,
Okay.
I'll let you talk, all right? Is to provide relevant information so the board can make a decision on whether or not the character of the neighborhood is going to change, is it substantial, all of those criteria. So what the board is now doing is doing further some questions on which of those people have relevant information to provide that it will or will not change the character of the neighborhood. That's it. We didn't go out and ask you to go find all these individuals from all over the place. Usually that's what council's for, is to guide you on what is and what isn't relevant information. So, go
Well,
ahead.
I didn't find them from all over the place. They were patrons of the plaza. They were all at each business of the plaza. Some patrons are not from here, but they enjoy the plaza, so I thought they're the ones to sign. But I guess I was,
We're working on it, okay? So Larry, I'm sorry, Leah, you have further questions?
Still have some more. So you stated, well, we established earlier, there's the lighting for the flagpole at the center plaza. The individual businesses, I think you said, even though you didn't mention the individual businesses, but they have lights as well at night?
It's my understanding they're lit as well.
the signs are lit and the front of the plaza's lit, like you see here, but they go off at, I think, the plaza goes off at midnight, 11 o'clock for safety, and everything turns off.
And that would be, the pergola would have those same hours as well.
Right. And the businesses, do they stay open till midnight or later than that?
Yeah, sometimes Auto Tomatoes is there pretty late. People get nervous when they're walking around the parking lot late at night, so we leave a lot of the lights on until about 11 or 12.
And what is Auto Tomatoes business hour?
10:30, I think they leave.
10:30.
It could be, sometimes they're there later, it depends if they have a big party.
Right. But like you said, the plaza lights, they all go off at midnight.
I believe it's midnight, and they go on at 5 in the morning for the gym, because it's pretty full there.
Okay. So I think it's safe to say that between the flagpole light and the few lights that are on at the different businesses, that illuminates the parking lot enough, as people are walking back from the businesses to their cars, correct?
Yes, and
Yeah,
I think
the
what he
parking-
was talking about with tripping hazard was that
I'm getting
grass
to that.
spot-
Yeah,
spot.
I'm getting to that. So for the parking lot, the lights currently there illuminate the parking lot enough for people to see, to get to their cars.
Yes, that's my understanding.
So, and you mentioned tripping hazard, and Larry got into it. So why would people go into the grass at night? Because that pergola, it doesn't have benches, it's not for people to sit. So what is the purpose for people to walk around?
Well, there's curbing, so they shouldn't be there.
Right.
But anytime there's shrubbery or a pergola, it may cause somebody to walk near that. And one of the benefits of the overhead lighting that I read about in preparation for today is that commonly it's added to a pergola in a commercial area because it reduces tripping hazards. So that's one of the design considerations when people put together this type of an effect. One, it's visual, but two, from what I read, it just creates better illumination so people don't fall.
So before the pergola was there any concern about any tripping hazard in the grassy area where the shrubs are?
I
Well,
think
there
in
was
any,
no shrub
I
there.
think in any commercial establishment, there's always concern for tripping hazards. Anytime you have invited guests at your property, you have to be concerned for people not paying attention, not going into areas where they otherwise should be, and falling. So that's always a consideration of an owner of any property, whether it's residential, commercial, anytime. You should always, always be mindful, because you have a duty to protect your invited guests.
And why wasn't there any request to put additional lighting before this pergola?
Well, again,
it's put-
that was, I believe that when the application was put together, there wasn't enough thought on adding the lighting and the enhancement that could be created with that. And unfortunately, it was done the wrong way by just putting it up and asking forgiveness later. We all know that's not the way to do things,
No.
especially in the town of Victor. But That's why we're here, because we're trying to do it the right way. We want it to have that lighting for, one, the physical look and the other benefits that are being discussed.
And wouldn't putting lighting on the pergola possibly attract people to go to that pergola? You know, for whatever reason, even just to get close, you know, because it is pretty. You know, I like the pergola, but just to go and see, you know, what's around it. And that can, you know, that can result in, you know, liability. You know, people going there that shouldn't, maybe somebody trips over something or goes in there and trips over, you know, whatever flowers and shrubs are there.
Yeah, so I didn't read anything saying that lighting creates an attractive nuisance, and I think that it's just the opposite, that actually lighting prevents something from being an attractive nuisance. The pergola and the shrubbery itself could create a condition where it causes somebody to go over there. Like you said, you like the look of it, it may cause you to go over there to look. So, again, I think what I read is that one of the benefits of the lighting and why the architectural and landscaping people want it lit up is that it addresses that issue.
Okay. I think that's it for now.
Yeah, so my first question is, the variance we're granting is because of the condition on the previous variance and not something else from the code about the lighting specifically? I know you said there's other sections, but there's nothing else?
Right now, this application is to amend the previous granted variance to allow lighting in the pergola, and then the other lighting code may apply depending on how it is lit. And when you're discussing hours of operation, it would be prohibited by the code outside of hours of operation. So if you wanted to leave them on all night, you would need another variance. And then there's a section of code that talks about if you're beyond a certain time frame, it allows for a certain time frame for temporary or seasonal lighting. And once you're outside of that time frame, it becomes like decorative lighting. And if you're going to do it for more than 40 days, you're supposed to have approval from the planning board. So that's something to consider.
At the time of the variance, we specifically said no lighting because of the possibility that we'd have to address other issues in the lighting.
Understood. I'm just trying to understand right now, what we're addressing is the condition from the previous variance. Okay. All right, so there's no other variances then from the lighting code that's being asked for? Okay. We had talked last time, is that like, there's no other variances right now? Something else, okay. So we had discussed last time the lights were gonna be white in color?
Yes,
And
low
they,
light.
and they
Low
weren't
level
gonna
light.
be flashing?
They don't flash. No, they do not flash, and you can make that a condition.
And then the hours were gonna match basically the operating hours of the center, okay.
Yes.
I was not on the board when the original variance was granted. I understand we have the code that has the accessory structures that's not allowed in front of the building, which covers a wide range of items. As a resident of Victor, I've been here 5 years. I came from the city. I drive up and down 96 all the time. My personal opinion is, I think we should try to do their best to encourage businesses to make their properties look better, to do architectural enhancements, to do things to drive business, make the gateway. So in my opinion, I'm okay with what you guys did with the pergola. I've been out there many times looking at it. I think it looks really nice, and I don't have any issues with the lighting, being that it's white, it's not flashing, it's not going to be colored, and that it's going to be matching the hour. So I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
You're nodding, but you understand
Oh, yeah, I understand what he said. He
what he's
said,
saying is though, like, so if at Christmas time.
no flashing lights, no
well, you're
colored
never-
lights.
Never gonna have flashing lights.
No colored lights,
Okay,
only the lights that are up there.
okay.
Patrick?
I think Matt asked and addressed that. I'm in a similar spot. I wasn't on the board previously. I'm looking at one justification, and I'm having a hard time finding like the real economic or safety benefit, but I'm also sitting here having a hard time finding an offsetting detriment to that. So admittedly, I'm where Matt is probably in his summary comments there. So I don't have any further questions. I just am struggling to find the balance between a benefit and a detriment, and I'm not there.
Okay. So the struggle that I have is, this is a line my dad used to tell me, mean what you say what you mean. So originally, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, no lights, just shrubs, there'd be an aesthetic bench there, no one would sit there. But when I see these pictures like this, there's pumpkins and skeletons and all kinds of things, decorations that, what concerns me is if we keep saying one thing, no lights, just aesthetics, just for looks, and then the target gets moved. And then maybe the board's gonna say, okay, lights. And then there's lights that are approved. And then something else changes, and something else changes. When are you gonna stop moving the target it would be my concern.
Yeah, let me try to address that. I'll represent to you, after we're done here, I'll have a conversation with the owner saying that if he's going to go beyond what was granted here, obviously this is a real gift to him. He'll get the message. But if he does that, he has to come before this board to get approval. He has to do it, what we said, the right way.
All right, all the decorations, all year long, what I'm trying to get my arms around is you said one thing and it was just supposed to be some shrubs and some flowers. Is that going to stop?
It is going to stop. And if there's a need to make any further change, we'll come before the board.
All right.
We'll do it the right way.
And the other part, as I see it, is one of the documents that you gave us. It is a 10 by 10, looks like a netting of 270 lumens net lights. How can 270 lumens give any kind of benefit to avoid tripping hazards? That's really not a lot of light. And the way that this picture looks like, all of that lighting that, in my eyes, is not from the pergola. It's from the parking lot lights, and adding any more lighting, the town already has a code regarding light pollution.
Well,
So which way is it, I suppose?
Yeah.
Is it necessary for tripping hazards? And I understand the attractive nuisance piece. I don't want to go down there, because if you start saying that, then you're on notice that there's a potential problem, and putting 270 lumens in that area is not going to solve the problem.
yes. So let me, primarily, the benefit of the lighting is the aesthetic look. And we've heard two board members talk, and me as well, a resident of Victor that travels down 96 quite often and actually frequents the establishments there. It just looks good. It drives business. Hey, the lights are on. Hey, that place looks great. Pergola, must be some Italian stuff going on in there. Oh, there's Auto Tomatoes, we go there. It just drives business. That was the primary benefit of it. Does it have some secondary benefits? Yeah, it creates some additional illumination. Is it an abundant, are there floodlights? No, they're not. They don't want them floodlights, because then we're talking about the light pollution effect of that. But ultimately, if we read about pergola, and one of the reasons that people put the lighting on it, it's twofold. It's aesthetic, and it is also to create better illumination. And I think that is the benefits of what's trying to be achieved here. The owner is trying to improve his property for the benefit of the town, its tenants, and everybody else.
Do you foresee any variances from the owner within the next 12 months regarding anything? There's more coming, isn't there? Okay.
No.
There's already a lot of variances. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
Hold on,
I
let
don't
me
know if
finish,
it's a
let me
variant.
finish, Let me finish. There's already multiple variances on that property. Is that not true? And it has to do with the sheds in the backyard, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And now we got a variance on the front yard. And now, thanks for,
Well, I'm going to be honest, there is another one, and I would assume it's a variance because we are interested in doing something for Auto Tomatoes in the back, yes, but it's in the back, but yes. And we would bring it to you the right way and going through the right channels.
In Phoenix Mills, you know, it has a long history in Victor. It may have numerous variances, but it has been here for quite some time.
Will the pergola go back to what was originally promised, except for the lights? I mean, all the skeletons and everything are going to disappear?
Currently, there is no skeleton there. The decorations,
Just the chest is the only thing out there, I believe.
Which wasn't part of the original. I mean, obviously it was shrubs, the pergola, flowers.
If you want to take the no decorations, no chest, that's fine.
We're not,
It's not us.
what is it that you want?
No, that's fine. If you're saying no, that you don't want them, yes, you know,
We're not saying no today. It was in the original variance that was granted December of 2024.
right.
so what we're seeking approval for is the lighting today.
A 10 by 10, 270 lumen gazebo net lights. Specifically,
That's
right?
what was-
'Cause I'm sorry to be, we're going to try and keep this as tight as we possibly can, because quite honestly, it gets a little concerning that I can't figure out exactly what you want.
No, we understand and we appreciate that, so I think it makes sense to be precise. And that, what
That
you
is
have
it.
in
What I
there,
printed out is exactly
is
what was
exactly-
hanging up there.
yes.
I, pretty much to the T. I didn't see exactly what was bought, but I'm sure I'm thinking that's exactly what was bought.
Okay, so this, what I'm showing you is, I believe what you presented.
Yes.
And there's a box around it with an asterisk in the box, right? And it
Right.
does say UEZ LED light, outdoor fairy lights, chandelier, 270 lumen gazebo net lights with 8 lighting modes, which is just going to be white. You're not flipping them all different colors,
No.
correct? 10 by 10 for pergolas. Right, that's, we're going to mark that in the
Mm-hmm. I don't know if
record.
that's the right size. That's 10 by 10. I don't think our pergola is 10 by 10. That's the only thing.
Okay, let's take a half a step back. What is it
I don't
exactly
know
that
the
you
exact
want?
I don't know the exact size of the pergola. Does anybody have it on the old?
It's 12 by 20.
Variance is 12 by 20.
Okay, so that was the size, that's the lighting up there, 12 by 20. Sorry, it fit up there perfectly when she had it up there, so I'm assuming she cut it or made it work so it would fit the whole top I think, of the pergola. I could measure out the top and let you know for sure what it is. It's on the top.
So what was the 10 by 10 you would give us?
I didn't. Well, it just was highlighted there just because I went on Amazon and found it. And, I mean, I didn't click it to say I was ordering it. I just highlighted that, showing you. I didn't realize it was, the size was wrong.
So
I'm sorry.
for the benefit of the applicant, I think council knows that when a resolution is drafted, and if it is approved, or for that matter, if it's disapproved, for future generations, whether it's a week, a month, a year, 10 years, somebody looking at this and says, oh, I see exactly what the zoning board did. I see exactly what they approved or disapproved. Not kind of, sort of, I kind of get, that's not how solid resolutions look, at least not from this board. Okay, is that understood so far?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, Susie, anybody from the public speak for or against this or concerns? No? Anyone from the public want to speak for or against the application? All right, I think I know where Patrick and Matt, Larry, you got a feel for where you're leaning one way or the other before you start figuring out how to draft this thing?
Yes, I'd be against it.
Okay?
Against it.
Okay, so, anything else you want to add?
unless the board has any other questions, I have no further comments.
I don't. I think I'm going to, and if the applicant has something that she wants to add, we can certainly talk about that.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, so all that we're doing then is looking at lighting for the gazebo, and albeit that the information the applicant provided was for a 10 by 10, we're looking at a 12 by 20 net lights, white only, 270 lumens, gazebo lights that will be on during the hours of operation of the businesses or business, whatever the earliest, latest that they open and close.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be a little bit concerned about putting the 270 lumens in.
Because,
Knowing, well, if a 10 by 10 is 270, a 12 by 20 is going to be probably a lot more.
Adam, can you speak to how much more lighting is with a 270 10 by 10?
Every product's different, so without seeing the specs for the specific product, I can't speak to that.
And if this is granted, could there be other variances that the applicant needs that is directly related to the lighting that's on the pergola?
So it gets complex. It would seem like planning board approval is required because you're gonna have architectural exterior lighting, and all lighting in commercial districts is supposed to be in conformance with a lighting plan. So because she plans to light it more than 3 months out of the year, planning board approval is required. And then they'll hash out, you know, the lumens and all that stuff, and if they're not compliant with the lighting code, she would have the option to either change the lighting or get a variance.
So it's possible that the board could grant the variance and the planning board could say, we're not going to let that happen. Is that fair to say, Adam?
I guess.
It could. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you're not predicting what the planning board's going to do, but just because a variance might be granted today, you still have to get over the hurdle of the planning board reviewing it and making a decision on whether or not that's acceptable to them.
Or
Understood.
you could choose to only illuminate it for up to 3 months out of the year.
No, I think he wants to get full approval.
Yeah,
Okay. Anything else? Comments, questions, concerns? All right, let's look at the criteria and justification. An undesirable change would not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by the granting of an area variance. Oh, let me touch on one thing before I continue. All of the other things that are there, besides shrubs, flowers, any decoration of any kind, excluding the lights, are going to be removed. From this point forward, no Halloween, no Christmas, no treasure chest, no wheelbarrows, nothing. It's, you said shrubs, you said flowers, that's it. Correct?
I understand.
Okay. We'll put that as a condition later on. I'll say it again. But in any event, first, undesirable change would not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by granting the area variance. Keeping in mind that the previous approval indicated no lights, the applicant's counsel has provided enough information that it would be a difficult argument to present that the lighting of 270 lumens for a 12 by 20 gazebo would create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. And I understand there are 2 board members that would disagree, but I have to at least present it in some way so that there is a clear cut either for or against.
I would also say, since it's lighting that's lower than the plaza parking lot lights, and the building lights and the hours of, that they've represented that they'll be lighting it is consistent with the plaza and it won't be on just by itself, and that it's not going to be flashing and it's going to be white in color, that would also lead to not creating
Okay, we
an
can put that in
undesirable.
there. White lighting only, no flashing lights, and during hours of operation of the businesses. Right? Anything else? All right, second, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Given that the prior variance indicated that no lighting would be attached to the pergola, that there's really no other way that the applicant can pursue other than a variance requesting the lighting on the gazebo as stated in the first criterion justification. Would anyone like to add or comment on the second criteria? Third, the requested area variance is substantial, largely due to the fact that the applicant and the prior variance did indicate no lighting. By asking for an amendment to the variance that specifically addresses the lighting would be considered substantial. Fourth, the proposed variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. Let's,
I think that kind of matches what we
yeah,
said for one as
it's
well.
gonna, right, exactly. It's going to match the justification for number one. Fifth, the alleged difficulty is self-created. And should this variance be approved, the condition would be that the lighting would be 270 lumens for a 12 by 20 structure.
I don't
The hours of operation, what,
I don't know if we can say for the 270 because that would be the lumens on the 10 by 10. When you go to the 12 by 20, the lumens could be higher than that because there's a little bit more lighting. So the way, I mean, it would just like, I guess we could say it's the LED, like you say, the LED lighting. I just don't think there's a way to say the 270 lumens necessarily because that's not what, I don't believe that.
I think that we need to put a number in there. What is and I'm not an electrician, so I don't know what an estimate for a 12 by 20 similar lighting in lumens as it would be.
Not gonna necessarily just double.
Didn't it sound like the planning board could technically change that too, right, Adam? I don't know.
All right, so let's put in there,
About 2.5 times.
and like lights, the applicant had indicated that for a 10 by 10 LED outdoor fairy chandelier lights would be 270, then the equivalent for a 12 by 20 net lighting.
Could we put in that the planning board would have to determine the lumens?
Sure, we can put that in there, subject to planning boards of approval for
Yeah, that
appropriate.
I
way.
think that's, yeah,
You know,
they then look at that, they get,
Because, I mean, there's no way we're going to be able to tell.
Right, oh, that's fine, that's a good idea. We're on conditions now, so we have hours of operation of the white light, non-flashing lights to be during the hours of operation of the businesses located at the plaza. And the only other aesthetic pieces that are at or about the pergola would be shrubs and flowers, no decorations, such as skeletons, pumpkins, treasure chests, wheelbarrows, and of the like. Would anyone like to add anything to the criteria, justifications, or the conditions to the proposed resolution?
Going back to one, I think we said 270 lumens, so now that has to be taken out.
Right, but right,
Justification for
it's
what?
subject,
To
it's subject to
planning board.
planning board approval.
You need to put the color and the flashing as part of the conditions.
Didn't I say that? No.
you say what the conditions
white-
The lighting code prohibits flashing lights anyway, so.
All right, These are all good questions. Anything else? Okay, very good. I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Matt, a second.
Second.
Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No?
No.
Okay. All right. We have your lights, subject to planning board approval.
Thank you so much for everybody's consideration.
Thank you. Thanks for your
Thank you.
patience. Do you want that or not? All right. I forgot his name. Do you want your,
I have many copies unless you.
You can keep that for the record.
all right, thanks. Thank you. All right, have a good night. Forrester is next. There we go. Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good, thanks for your patience. So you would like a sprinkler waiver for a fine arts gallery? All right?
Yes,
Okay.
that is it. My name is Susan Forster DiMartino. I am both Three Bears Property LLC and Lissam Fine Art LLC. We are buying the property, owning the property, and then we will be the tenant, the gallery, the fine art. So, yes.
Okay, so you're looking for a sprinkler waiver, and you provided some information for us. So one of the issues that the board looks at is, what does the fire chief, the fire marshal, have to say about it? Because large in part is the reason for the sprinkler code is for the protection of not only the people that are in the building, but also the firefighters that go in, and they want to keep as safe as they possibly can. Did you have a chance to look at the sprinkler waiver memo that Robert Graham put together?
Was I given it, I did try to do research on the
Actually,
state
take-
code and all the codes and what the criteria was and
Right, take-
why, et cetera.
Take a couple of minutes, read over it before we start asking you a few questions about it, and give me a chance to get a drink of water.
Can I ask a quick question more about it in general, just to
Well, then,
clear-
let her finish read.
Okay.
And then you can ask a question.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set? Go ahead, Matt.
There are
Question?
2 buildings on the property?
No.
Nope.
So
Just
is it,
one.
okay, because I guess I'm confused, just on the resolution, the first whereas is referencing an existing pole barn?
Oh, that's from an old one. My
Okay, all right, that was it, then that's what confused me, was seeing that, okay, then I'm fine.
No, and originally, we had actually not proposed a pole barn. It was just like a storage shed with no electricity, just to house. But we've decided, just for space, we don't really actually need that. Because I'm not going to be mowing my own lawn, so I don't have to keep my own lawnmower. But there will be no hazardous materials or gas or anything stored. And in the studio up, the gallery itself will have no, everything we're doing is non-toxic, watercolor, not, so I'll have no kilns, no torches, no, like solvents or anything of that sort of, anywhere on the property.
So, no non-combustible?
Non-combustibles, yeah,
That's your- go ahead.
no, yeah, we're not using oil paints or oil, it's all non-toxic, environmentally friendly, is the goal of this whole thing.
Are you just going to display artwork, or as you're saying, you're going
It's
to?
a fine arts gallery, so we went through the planning board approval, so essentially upstairs is a office studio, and we will have a transient, we're gonna have a residency program, so we'll have an artist that's coming from all parts of the world, potentially. They'll be paid to come and live, work on a project for the month, be available for people to come work with a few people, maybe, no more than 4 to 6 at a time on a specific project or workshop. But again, this is watercolor painting, felting, things that require no equipment, no fancy stuff, it's just a table and chairs. And also, so downstairs is entirely gallery space, and then upstairs will be, but that upstairs will be, it's completely fire wrapped and separated. We will have a separate HVAC system for upstairs and downstairs. There will be nothing connecting that upstairs space with the downstairs space. We are actually even reducing the footprint we've removed a building that we're not replacing. Our addition's gonna be kind of smaller. There's no third floor storage, no attic storage, so it's just the 2 stories. And then the one addition will only be 1 story. There won't even be anything up above that. So it's, again, very small.
All right, just want to jump in quick. You provided a date on it, December 2025. The cost of the system, a sprinkler system, would be $25,000.
That was an estimate, and I did get an estimate because I got what they call spot and dot, where I had a fire protection go in and they looked at, and did the whole plan and
Who's they? Who provided you for the estimate?
apologize for being unprepared of not having that email with who I paid. But it was a fire protection company that's all they do is do these systems. So I thought I was going to have to really present the entire
You have it
plan,
at
the
home?
estimate. But they did not give me a complete estimate for the whole job if I were going to have to do this. I was going to go, if I was told I was going to have to, then I was going to go back to them and get the estimate I just paid the $1,000 to get the spot and dot, to get the plan done. And then that's what,
Did they provide you with a number?
no, my architect provided me with a ballpark estimate of what, to a system of that size based on our architectural,
That's what
our
I'm getting at.
plan.
All right, so
Yeah,
that
that was just for the system, not for the water and doing the whole, because we only have a 1 inch or a small intake. So that was the other thing, is that they said I was gonna have to be responsible for all the way back to
Could you, it sounds like you had some communication with your architect. Could you, at your earliest convenience, touch base with your architect, put something, it doesn't have to be elaborate, handful of sentences, that on whatever date you contacted the architect gave you an estimate of approximately $25,000 to put the sprinkler system in and send it to Amber. So now we have it in our file that is consistent with what you're telling us, that it was approximately $25,000. Can you do that, or is that
Yeah, they can, I could call the fire prevention company too and say, hey, can you give me a quote for what that would be too? 'Cause
what we're
then they're
looking
gonna-
for is just sometimes an applicant will come in and just say, it's about this much money, and they kind of pull the rabbit out of the hat, and it's like, I believe you, what you're telling me is true. All that we would like is something in our file that you did what you did, and something that we had, if it's tomorrow, if it's later in the week, that's fine. So now it's in our file that you had the number, and it supports what you're telling us, that it's costly to put a sprinkler system in there. Okay?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah,
Great.
because, yeah, they'll,
Good, thanks. All right, where were we? Patrick, questions?
When the fire marshal reviewed it, did they know that there was going to be a residential component?
Yes.
They did. Okay. And is it going to be like are you renting it for just
no,
a
it's not
rotation?
rented at all. It's, the terms, they termed it a transient residency. So no longer, the one person can stay for a month, but no longer than a month, and it will be never rented out to anybody. That's not how it goes. This is, again, they're being paid to come and,
Yeah.
right, so it's not,
And like 1 to 2 people at any one time, or is it just one artist?
one artist.
One artist. Okay.
Yeah, just one.
And no glass blowing, metal work, anything like that.
No, I love that. No, I'm just kidding. I am in fact a glass blower, but I find it much easier to go down to Corning and pay for the time there where they have this incredible facilities and then just, yeah, finish work by painting it. And the grinding and polishing is not, it's like sandpaper and it's wet, so there's no, it's not like woodworking where there's any sort of dust or anything, and nothing goes down the drain, so those are all, yeah. But no hot work, no kilns. At this point, a few years down the road, we may change, and then we'll come back, and before we obviously did anything, we'd get approval for a separate building that had, but
Okay, so you wouldn't
But-
retrofit this building someday to do those hazardous activities?
no, because it's too difficult and it not cost effective. It's just much better to build a whole new building that's correct. And if that, we do have with that property, and I believe the water comes from Rowley Road up, like the main, down the road, once we got open, maybe we'd build, do something there that had a separate building that just had kilns and, that kind of thing that was all, that we could connect, and we would put a sprinkler system in that, because then if we're building it new, and that's fine, it makes sense, because that should have, but.
Okay, that was all my questions right now.
Okay. Leah, any other questions, comments?
So, do you know offhand the square footage of the building?
No, I should. I'm sorry. I'm not as prepared as other.
What, were any alterations, did you make any alterations yet to the building?
No, we're actually just on hold, waiting for all the work permits to get all the approvals before we go do anything. Yeah, other than, we had started in the beginning when we bought this, we thought we were just gonna be able to do cosmetic or just inside things. And then upon starting to, it revealed that it was moldy, it had to come down. So that's when we kind of just on hold, and we had to spent the last year with my architects and the engineers trying to get the whole plan of what we can do, how can we do it, and then to the planning board, and they've approved everything. And this is sort of the last question before we move on to do anything at all, is getting this, whether, because obviously we don't want to do anything and then have to go back and put the sprinkler in.
So you're gonna do, because even from the outside, it looks like an older structure, so you're gonna have to do some, I would say, extensive repairs. I mean, is that correct by me saying extensive? And now I'm just
Well,
talking
it's
about the
been a new
interior.
roof, new siding, new cleaning up, everything, that's
And then-
it. Everything has been already submitted
Yeah.
for what we're doing.
And for the inside, are you gonna either break down walls to make an open gallery space, or just use
It's
the
all the
existing
way it
foot?
is right now. Yep,
S-
it's
so is
all,
that.
yep.
Okay.
We just have to, it's just rip out the old rotten things and make it nice and clean. We're putting a, handicap bathroom accessible, making sure everything is to code and,
And I saw in one of these memos, it was, I guess, recommended, whatever new materials you put in is using fire-rated drywall for the walls.
yep,
And then are you going
and the
to,
ceiling.
and an alarm system like ADT, you're
Will
going to
be
have
wired,
that? You're
yep,
going to,
hardwired in. It will have we do have ADT there now for security,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but yes, we'll have the ADT, everything, yeah. And then,
so are they going to recommend, like how many, because with ADT, they'll, maybe just put the fire detector in, maybe 2 rooms, but, based on the size of the room or the size of the house, but are you going to ask for maybe extra even, because
the
it's a
gallery,
gallery?
yeah, the gallery is really just one big room. And then there's a second room, so each room would be zoned in, yeah, like
So each
each
room
room in
is
each
going to
area
have,
will have
that. okay.
multiple, hardwired, as well as obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but fire extinguishers and things within each range that, for accessible, for kind of dry, putting fires out instead.
And the upstairs is also going to have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes. And every room,
Every room.
yep, every room.
Okay.
And then again, fire extinguishers on the walls.
And I understand, and even the fire marshal said, because this is a, small structure, and I saw a statement stating, because it's artwork, you can't really have a sprinkler, because that's not feasible, because that
No,
would cause
and-
damage.
Particularly with watercolor and is a big component. This whole thing with Sand Fine Art is a legacy business, or a legacy gallery. My mother was a watercolor painter internationally known in Vermont. So she passed, and so I am her daughter, also a professional artist, but tasked to continue selling her work. So this isn't just artists around, that this is, I have safe estimate, millions of dollars worth of stock of her paintings. She is passed, so they are, if it, they're water damaged, they're gone forever and totally irreplaceable. So the monetary value isn't even. So, I would like to take every step to avoid, if they go off and it's not a real fight, there's all sorts of ways that it's damaged and my property value is not as valuable as what the contents in it. And then the insurance, if I have other people's artwork and, the value of some of this work, the price points are gonna be up in the $5,000-$10,000 range. So that's I have to, protect that, yeah, so
Okay.
that's why
That's all I have.
Larry?
Will you be keeping the entire inventory in that room of your late mother's?
we will be keeping much of it, yeah. Yeah, much of it, so it's, yes, and upstairs, and because, so we also will be having a matting and framing, so upstairs, and so we'll be having all that stock to, because much of her work was unfinished, it's, again, watercolor that's signed, so things will be for sale unfinished, or we will frame and mat stuff for people and things like that. So yes, upstairs will be, now I am going to have constructed storage cabinets or the flat files that there's the new materials that is kind of easy to get where it's fire rated up to 5,000 degrees and water, so I can actually make and line things so I can have some of those things in an extra storage space. But yeah, that's one of the hard things about what I'm trying to do, is it's not just your average stock.
No other questions?
Okay, Matt?
So is that kind of like if you're designing an art gallery in general, sort of like what the industry standard recommendation would be to come up with a way to not have a water-based sprinkler system, just more for the industry standard to avoid the damage of that? Okay.
Yeah, I wish someone would invent something like that, but with the fire, it's like a fire extinguisher stuff, like it, that wasn't, it was sort of like
Yeah,
a
they
drive.
just say, try to do whatever you can to not have sprinklers
Yes.
based on the damage when you're designing a new art gallery. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Suzie, anything from online? Anyone from the public want to speak for or against the application? Okay, so let's go over a couple of things for the criteria. First one being an undue economic hardship. The applicant has indicated that the estimated cost would be approximately $25,000, and has indicated that at some point she's going to provide some information to Amber. Do you have her email address? Regarding where that number came from, whether it's an architect or wherever you got it from. And as far as the second, the physical or legal impossibility, I think the physical impossibility would be, you have an art gallery, watercolors, there's non-toxic, non-hazardous, non-combustibles. You've also indicated that you're having fire-rated drywall, ceiling and fire-resistant flooring, hardwired ADT systems, multiple exits, along with zone fire extinguishers. So I think that covers that. As far as the third, the implemented to intend objectives of the section. I think what we're, again, dealing with, it's the artwork, watercolors. It is property. It's valuable to you. Our understanding has been in the past with the suppression system is really for the safety of whether it be employees or really the fighters that go in there so that they don't get unnecessarily harmed. So I think we've gotten all that, and especially since our fire marshal has given us an indication on the January 2nd, 2026 letter that, well, it's the better way to go. It sounds like he's comfortable with the systems that you're setting up for proper fire protection. And then in the necessity in light of other viable alternatives which meet the objectives of the code section. That's a hard one, because I think you just said, and I think rightfully so, there isn't one. To have any kind of suppression system that would be triggered, all of that artwork would be destroyed. With that, unless someone wants to add anything else, I think we're ready for a motion for approval to waive the sprinkler system.
Chairman, I know you have it in there, but could we put the variances subject to receipt of the?
This is not an area variance, this is a waiver, just so
It's
you
a
know.
waiver. It's a waiver specific
Yep.
to the applicant.
It has nothing to do with the property. Any additional building would be subject to the same sprinkler requirement. This is specifically a waiver for that building for this intended use.
No, my question really was more, not that I don't believe you're going to send it, but I always like to have something in there that says that the waiver is subject to the actual receipt of that estimate.
I don't know if we need to, I hear you, I don't know if we need to put a condition. It'd be nice to have it in our file so that we have at least in writing where she got the number from, but all the applications that we've taken on sprinkler waivers, it doesn't sound like an inconsistent number on the expense of what it would cost to get a sprinkler system installed.
Fair enough.
If anything, I might think we've seen higher.
Yeah, that was not, that was just for doing the house. That was not considering having to change the whole water
Yeah.
that I'm kind of was even afraid to ask for an estimate to, like, what,
Understood. Okay, well, go ahead.
because we have to go through the woods.
Okay.
Move to
uh,
approve.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Thank
None
you very, very
opposed.
much.
Good luck to you. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
patience.
Thank you very much.
Barber, how are you?
I'm David Cox with Cox Engineering, so
Okay, sorry.
representing Mr. Barber.
All right, you're looking for an area variance for construction within 100 feet of wetland.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, tell us what you got.
So it's an 18.2 acre property. The wetland is on the east side of the property, close to Benson Road. Mr. Barber's looking to put a single-family house on it. Right now, there's an existing, it's an old railroad bed, so we'll be utilizing that for part of the driveway, which you can see to the south on the property. And then it kind of heads north along that existing railroad bed, and then someone at some point on the property kind of cleared an area that kind of goes back to where the house is. So that driveway is able to, go through without, disturbing any trees or anything like that. It's a more of a gentle grade. A lot of the other topography on the site is more steep and heavily wooded. So really, this is the way to get back there is through the path that's already there. So that's the path of least resistance and the least, tree removal or earth moving and things like that. So the house is, around 500 feet off the property, so it's kind of tucked back in. It goes back over the hill a little bit. I'm not really sure that any other surrounding houses would be able to see it, so it's really kind of tucked back in there. It's quite a nice property. Like I said, it's a large 18.2 acre property, so just for a single family house. So we don't believe that it'll create an undesirable change in the character of their neighborhood, following an existing path and just putting a single-family house in. The surrounding properties are single-family homes, so it's in keeping with the neighborhood. Can the benefit sought by the applicant achieved by some other method? If we were to move the driveway or the house, to be 100 feet away, you'd be disturbing a lot more trees, taking a lot more earth out. It would create a lot more disturbance, so a lot more environmental disturbance, if you will. So the plan has been designed to have the least amount of environmental impact. Is the request substantial? So the house is approximately 37 feet away from the wetland, and the proposed driveway at the closest part is around 57 feet. And it's just at kind of one corner spot. Besides that, it's the majority of the driveway, I would say probably 90% of the driveway is, outside that 100-foot area. Will the proposed variance have an adverse effect on the physical environment or neighborhood or district? And as I mentioned before, the proposed design really does the best job of limiting the amount of environmental impact and disturbance to trees, woods, things like that. And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, the topography of the site and where the trees are and all that, and the previous work that was done was not part of the owner. That is, how he bought the property. So he is, wanting to use the property for how it was created or how it formed, and the best way possible to limit the amount of disturbance on the property. And that's all I have.
All right. I think what we're going to do is, Matt,
Okay.
since you have some engineering background,
Yep.
I know we've seen maps before, but why don't you start us off?
Okay. So, don't disagree with anything you said, but just trying to work through it all. You could have the ability to take the driveway, angle it around, avoid the wetland. You do that based on the grade. It looks like you're going to be cutting in probably about 12 to 15 feet into the hill to then get the driveway. So you're probably going to then either be putting in like two 100-foot-long retaining walls, 15-foot tall, to just run the road in, or you're gonna be literally taking out like 2 acres of trees to run everything back?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which then is gonna move your septic system, probably have to push that back into the trees, rip out more trees there?
Correct.
As well, okay. And then with the house, it looks like you could rotate the house and just get that out of the wetland, but then that's gonna kick that into that hill right there, and all of a sudden you're in the same exact scenario where you're then basically kicking that out probably 50 to 70 feet to chase that grade back, if not more.
Correct.
So really, what you've done is, it looks like the only real tree clearing is just around the house. The driveway follows all existing, basically, clear trees and a clear path.
That's correct.
Okay. He owns the property?
Yes.
Not under contract? Okay. I don't really, I completely get the design, get where you're going with there and trying to minimize the impacts. And as Adam said, there's, in his memo as well, there's really like nowhere else you could really situate a house here that's not gonna really start to impact the land. So yeah, I don't really see anything else from a design standpoint that you could really do to not impact more. Okay, that's all I have. I didn't.
Barry, questions, comments, concerns?
Just a quick estimate off the top of your head, if you had to move it 100 feet away, either turning it or whatever we're talking into the hill and everything. Forget the driveway, just the house.
Or just a house?
What are you talking about? Okay, talk to me in how much it cost and how many trees you're taking down.
Cost, I mean, just ballpark, I'm probably 30,000 and probably taking down 60 trees.
How old would the trees be?
There's a mix, but it's a pretty mature forest back there, so there's definitely some bigger sized trees for sure.
Okay, thanks, I'm done.
Yeah.
Being that this is federal wetlands, have you contacted the Army Corps of Engineers?
So, so we did the wetland delineation, and since the federal wetlands don't have a buffer requirement, so there's no buffer requirement, so we're not disturbing the wetland buffer, so we don't need any permits from the.
You don't need anything from
Correct.
them. And it was, now was that from the Army Corps of Engineers or?
Yeah, that's from the Army Corps.
Yeah. And there were no other federal agencies involved with wetlands at all? I didn't remember any, because I worked for the Corps years ago, but I didn't do this type of stuff.
I can confirm, yeah. I work with the federal wetlands, they wouldn't need any permit
No,
from
it
the Army
would-
Corps of Engineers for
No,
this.
okay. Okay, that was all I had, thank you.
Thank you.
You're good? Almost up?
All right. I think Larry may have touched on it, but just so we can plug in some numbers, do you have an estimate on the cost, the monetary cost it would be that if you could figure out some way to comply with the code, you know, I hear you, trees and invasion of land, all that kind of thing. What's it going to cost to comply with the code?
Yeah, so the driveway would probably be even more significant to get into that hill and the retaining wall. I mean, you'd probably be talking $200,000
Okay.
for that.
How long have you been doing this?
20 years.
All right. So I think Matt covered most of the things I wanted to talk about, just for the numbers. Susie, anyone? No, anyone from the public want to speak for or against? Go ahead, come on. Come on up, tell us who you are, and tell us what you got.
My name's Glenn Piper, and I live immediately south of that property at 236 Benson. And so I missed what you said as far as, is it the east wetland that you talked, I thought I heard you say east? Or the big pond?
Wait,
Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
time out.
Okay,
So it's procedure.
Yeah.
So we can't let that happen.
Okay.
If you want to ask us
Okay.
questions, and if we know the answer
Yep.
to it, then if we find it appropriate, then we can ask him.
Okay.
I know, it sounds like it's a stickler,
It's-
but
it's
just
fine.
let's follow
It's
it out.
fine.
So your question is?
After the lights, I'll follow anything you want.
Okay, your, state your question again?
I thought I heard him say that the variance was for the wetlands on the east side, close to Benson Road, as opposed to the larger pond on the west side.
I can.
Maybe
step
I,
in line.
maybe I was incorrect on that?
Okay, go ahead, Adam can
Yep,
answer that.
so it's actually both. The house, he is looking for relief from the pond wetland, a reduction of about 27, 28 feet. And the driveway is the east, and that's more significant reduction, but maybe less impactful to that type of wetland. And they're looking for 43 feet of relief. So this is a local code requirement to try to preserve these, these areas of
Yeah.
interest. Doesn't seem like there would really be a negative environmental impact through our review, plus these in front of the planning board. So that may be good meeting if you have concerns to attend, because they're going to address those issues much more than the zoning board for just the variance.
Okay. Yeah, I went to the first planning board, or back on December, whatever, or it was, or January 8th. But, so, no, I agree that the ingress to that property, that's the most logical site for it. And other than coming in from the north, which would be problematic, following that trolley grade, I think makes total sense, getting back into the property. A little concerned with the proximity to the pond on the west, the large pond. My concerns with it are that both of those areas, and I don't want to sound like I'm save the wildlife, save the, but it is a special area, and the town recognizes that from I believe their conservation statement, I forget exactly when it was, a study back in 2013 or 2014. And it really is a unique area. And between those two, if you ever drive by Benson Road on a May day or an early May day, and you look down into that first wetland area, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of painted turtles and snapping turtles, and it's a real breeding ground. Both of those ponds are. I live just to the south of it, and I have dozens, if not hundreds, of painted turtles every June, as well as the annoying snapping turtles that come out. But it's a unique environment, and and this is really neither here nor there, but a lot of wood duck boxes to encourage the waterfowl, and so it's a neat spot. It is a wonderful spot for a house. I think probably the main reason I feel that they're probably sliding down to the pond a little closer is for the view, and which again, my biggest concern with that is the closer you go to the pond, the more leveling there's going to be. There's going to be a lot of earth moved. And so my biggest concern with that is that with any kind of consideration with it, I feel it's really critical that steps are taken to protect runoff from the pond. And I think that's a fairly large, I could see 5, 10 feet, but you're getting down close whenever you're getting that close to the pond. And without a lot of structures to keep runoff from, you're going to have a lot of silt and a lot of earth moving down into that pond. And I just go by there on a May day and see the number of painted turtles, and you won't see turtles like that very many places. And I'm not, oh, save the turtles, save the turtles. I just want to emphasize the need to preserve that environment.
Okay.
That's-
Any
yeah.
concerns? Anyone else from the public want to speak for or against? Okay. Board, anyone? More concerns? So I think what we have here, anything else you want to add? So what I'm hearing so far is, and correct me if I'm wrong, and really, Matt, please do jump in. For an 18.2 acre parcel of property that is, with like one house on it, for that to be the best place for that house, for that size of property, is remarkable. And I agree with Matt that you've done what you can to minimize the impact of tree removal, land being moved, minimal, it appears to be minimal impact to the wetlands, the ponds, and it just does seem to be the best location. Planning board still needs to approve this, Adam? Or is it, all right, so it still has to go through that hoop. All right, with that in mind, Glenn, was it? You weren't speaking for or against it, you had concerns, is that fair to say? I'm just, because we had a category in our resolution that it was held on and blank spoke for or against the application. I just don't know where to put you as far as other than you had concerns.
Well, I don't think it matters, but.
Oh, it does matter, you're part of the public.
Yeah, no, I know, but, I mean, obviously, you know,
I'm sorry to have you get up, and just so we can hear you.
I don't want to be one of those that's not in my backyard. And so I'm not speaking against it. I just have
I
concerns.
think we
I'm
can
not
put
supposed to
in
look
there,
at you.
you're not, you weren't for it, you're not against it, you have concerns and you've addressed them. Is that fair to say? Okay, good.
And you would prefer that it were just a little bit further away?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right, so let's go through the criteria and justifications. I think we know that the single-family structures are probably 75 feet away from the boundary line of the wetlands, and the driveway is within 57 feet. So, and is it all right for the board? We're going to put, it's really arguably, we could have two variances, but I think we're looking at basically the same thing, the same issues, that the house, the driveway, all that is going to impact the land involves the same fundamental justifications for granting the variance. Would we all agree with that? Okay, great. Undesirable change would not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by the granting of an area variance. As indicated, the property is 18.2 acres. We have determined that due to topo challenges and the engineering layout, that it would be minimal impact to the trees, minimal impact to the land, and it is the best location for the driveway and structure. And also, let's indicate, put in there that we'll strike that, we're going to put this in the second criteria as far as the cost. Would anyone like to add anything on the first criteria's justifications? Second, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. The location is, for the justifications that was indicated for the first, we can put that in there, and let's add in that the engineer has indicated that it would be approximately $200,000 additional cost if they were to comply with the code.
That's just for the road. 30,000 just for the house.
Yeah, correct.
How much are you spending, if I may ask, on the house?
The house cost? I don't know specifically, but 600,000.
You're talking about 5% of the cost of the house.
It'd be more, but
30.
30%.
That'd be like 33% of the cost of the house.
30,000 on top of,
Oh, just for the
Just
30.
for the house, yeah,
Right.
5%, if
Yeah.
you counted the driveway too.
no, I mean, the driveway's, that's just out of the world.
Okay?
Yes. But
Anything else on the justifications for the second criteria?
So it's going to be 30,000 on the house and 200 on the driveway.
Help me understand, why does that matter?
I don't know. You said 200,000.
Because of the impact of what it would cost to comply with the code would,
But the variance for the house is a different, I know we put them all together, but the variance for the house is a lesser amount than the variance for the
okay, what number would you like to be put for the house?
30.
Okay, that's fine. All right, anything else on the second criteria, the justifications? All right, the requested, for number 3, the requested variance is not substantial. I think considering the minimizing the impact of the trees and minimizing the impact of to the land itself and the best location possible for an 18.2 acre parcel, I would consider that as not substantial.
I think we should also say it's following the existing cleared trolley path that's there for the driveway, and then the house, it's only the one close point is 73. The back corner still meets it, so it's only like a section of the house and not the entire house running that
I don't think,
73.
I think you pick the point that's closest to the issue.
Yes. I'm just saying it's not substantial because the rest of it is farther back as well, and this is.
Okay.
It's just a pinch point.
All right. Anything else on the third criteria and justifications? Fourth, the proposed variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. I haven't heard anything from the engineer or any concerns from the board that it would have an adverse effect. Would anyone like to add anything?
Is there, because it doesn't need a Army Corps, it's not within the buffer? In other words,
Put that in
to,
there. There is the necessity of an Army Corps of Engineers review is not necessary. What you're looking for?
yeah, which would imply the environmental, right? If it, I don't, the buffer would exist to assess whether there's drainage or stormwater runoff issues, right? And
So
by
the
not
Corps
being,
just doesn't provide buffers on federal wetlands. The DEC does, but this would not be a DEC because it's outside the urban area, Adam?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm fine. I'm just trying to assess. The wetlands are there to protect, right, wildlife, but also like stormwater runoff and drainage for surrounding areas. So, I think it would be worth commenting on. It's in a rural area, so there's no further studies that have to take place that would. Maybe I'm not articulating it quite right. It's okay. We can leave it out.
Sure?
No, I'm okay. I understand Glenn's commentary around runoff and stormwater drainage, which is typically why you have wetlands there. It doesn't change it doesn't change. It just is something worth mentioning, I think, but I don't know how to articulate it differently.
Well, I think there's an indication that we certainly haven't been provided with any evidence that there would be an adverse effect or impact. We've, I think, addressed the need for the Army Corps, or lack of, engineers to take a review of it. So I don't know how to do it. It's approving a negative or talking about a negative.
Yeah, I guess it's just like that in and of itself gives the reassurance that it wouldn't have the impact this is driving at. I'm okay as is.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
fidget with it.
All right. Then moving along, the alleged difficulty is self-created. As far as conditions, I think it's already given that planning board has to review this. Is there any other conditions that the board would like to, or anybody else, conditions to the proposed variance? Good, we're good? Okay. All right, then moving along, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve?
Okay, thank you, Patrick. A second.
Second?
Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks so
very
much for
much.
your presentation and your patience. I know you've been waiting, really patient, just, could we, maybe 90 seconds, just stand up, everyone, 'cause I think we're gonna be a little bit, just 90 seconds, there we go. Okay. There we go, okay,
Everybody's been waiting for us to have this meeting.
thank you, thank you. Okay.
Good choice, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Ready?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name's Kurt Engebret, and I own the property at 7659 Victor Menden Road. And I'm asking for a use variance for the property that was purchased by my parents. I don't have the exact date, I can look it up. And the use variance is for an existing third apartment at the property that was conveyed at that time as a rentable unit. I have, of course, since learned that that is not the case, that the zoning only allows for a two-family residence to be at that location. And so that's the primary, I would say, ask for the variance. Secondarily, there is a barn apartment that my parents created illegally, which I'm not asking that that be provided any type of variance. It was used as an office to a garage door company. There was a powder room, a little kitchenette. It was, basically just a little fixed-up area in the barn that they used as an office space. And as I read through the information, that specific use permit was only permitted to that company and not for future use. So I did ask that that potentially be considered again, that that could be used just as an office space, not as a residence, that the residence would be eliminated. So I did provide a package which basically defined the history of the place, as well as the small improvements that were done to it to just make it rentable. There was no, major structural change. There was no additions done. This third unit, which is in the sort of the back of the building, new flooring was put in, new stove top, a couple, small things to make it so it was rentable. So those, these are pictures of it when it was completed. So as part of, the application, I filled out also the financial overview. I'm not sure, did Matt, did you contact me? Someone called me.
I did,
Oh, you
and
did?
we'll get to that as soon as you're
Okay,
done.
thank you. All right. Anyway, I was provided with, just information as to what the zoning board looks for as far as why would they approve something like this, and considering it is not currently zoned for that. So that just sort of gives you an overview. The, part of the application is the financial need of this unit to make this property viable. And I provided that in the information as far as the expenses associated with it, as well as the income of the rents. I think one of the benefits of the property, you know, why the town of Victor would like to keep something like this is the rental costs are very low here comparatively to most of Victor. One-bedroom apartment in, according to Zillow, there's only 2 available right now in the town of Victor, and they're $1,450 each for 1 bedrooms. I think it's apartments.com said the average price for a 1-bedroom apartment in Victor is $1,472 a month. So this particular unit was renting for $750 a month. And I just feel like it provides, you know, some type of property to renters that don't have as much money. So I guess I'll just answer questions.
Okay, so before we do, Susan, could you put up the use variance requirements, criteria? There we go, okay. So this is the criteria that, not just this zoning board, all zoning boards looking at. We had a conversation last week.
Yep.
So I think your letter indicated if there were any questions. And since normally I don't do that, but with the use variance, because of the complexity and difficulty of having a use variance granted, I thought it might be useful for you to at least to give you a heads up on what challenges that you're looking for.
Okay.
There have been a few use variance applications before us, and there have been times that the applicant either, for whatever reason, frustrated, and they're thinking, why are you asking so many questions? We have to. We have to be able to plug all these facts in to figure out, should a use variance be granted? You were here earlier, and hopefully you're listening to some of it. Area variances are different because it's not an all or nothing. It's a balancing test of the criteria on changing the character of the neighborhood, what have you. It's not the case with use variance. You must show each and every one of those that you have an unnecessary hardship for each and every permitted use in the district. So all of those permitted uses, and I believe it's R1 district, single family, 2-family dwelling, or a bed and breakfast. So you have to be able to show that you have an unnecessary hardship on all of them, not just for the property that you purchased. Right? That's what we're going to be looking at. And if any time during our questions, if you say, wow, I'm not ready, I need more information, just say it. We can, if we believe that you really are going to say, do your homework, give us some financials that we're looking for, all you have to say is, can I have some more time? I think I can do it. We'll be happy to do it.
Okay.
Anytime.
Yep.
Right, you just say the word. Fair enough?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, good. So, with that, what I'd like to do is at least start some of the questions, and as we go along, then on those particular topics, allow the board then to ask questions about those topics. 'Cause there's, all due respect to board members, I have probably the most experience here, so I think I have an idea of those kinds of questions that need to be asked before we go down all these different avenues that might be challenging, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So, tell us when you purchased the property.
Okay, so it was actually given to me by my parents 2 years ago. And so they had, owned it up until that point, maybe 3 years ago. So they purchased, let me just pull it up.
Maybe I can help, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm getting the information from Encore.
Yep.
In 2010, Donald Finch owned it. And at some point in 2014, your parents, that would be Ronald and Patricia?
Correct, yes.
Looks like about 2014, they purchased it.
Yes.
And then in 2016, it was converted to a trust.
Okay.
right? I mean, that's what Encore's saying.
that's
and
fine.
Doesn't mean that that's,
That could be true.
okay. And then there was some kind of deed correction in 2021 in your name as a current owner. Okay?
Yep.
So far, so good?
So far, so good.
And then I think there was some, I think, reliance on whether you or somebody that Encore and MLS has indicated that it was a three-family residence.
Correct. When they purchased in 2014.
I think we need to cut to the chase that just because MLS says it or Encore says it, it really doesn't matter. It's what the code says. The code
Understand.
says you can have a two-family, they're not a three-family.
Yep.
All right, so I don't want anybody going down well, how long have you had the three? It is what it is, that's what the code says.
Okay.
Right, do you have a number or what the fair market value of the property is currently?
Currently, as a two-family, it's probably in the 250 to 260 range, be my guess. And then as a three-family, maybe more like 300, 310, something like that.
All right, so I think hopefully we pin that down. You can't sell it as a three-family because
I know.
it's inappropriate.
Right, okay.
So as it exists today, as is, and most of the time, you're a realtor?
Yes.
Okay, so, you have to be able to as a seller, not disguise things and
Right.
sell it as it is. So it is a two-family residence.
Correct.
So you think the fair market value is approximately $250 for that property? All right. And I'm just trying to get an idea of, what is the value of the property, and whether or not you can demonstrate that you would get a reasonable return. Because that's the first part of the criteria. Can you get a reasonable return for the property? Any attempts to sell it?
No,
Any offers received? Is somebody knocking on your door saying, I want to buy it?
no.
In the time that you've had it, how long have you had it in your possession?
Well,
Your control of it?
the 4 years.
So within that time, what was your actual income realized? Per year is fine.
Per
Pick any
year,
frame.
I would say approximately 22 to 25,000 per year.
Okay. All right, with that, before I start going into other avenues, on those kinds of topics that we're dealing with, you want to start this way, that way? Do you care? Okay.
Is that
Go ahead.
gross or net? The
That's-
financial
That's gross revenue.
gross, okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Okay. Any of the kinds of questions on those avenues, we're looking at the topic of, you see, the law requires us to look at what they call dollars and cents, getting something real that we can get our arms around and what the value of that property is if you were to try and sell it. And you said it was gifted, right? Do you know what the value of the property when it was gifted to you?
They purchased, I think, for about 140. I've got it here, but, so it was probably closer to 200 when they gave it to me.
Okay. All right.
So there are 3 apartments in the one home right now?
Correct. That was the way it was.
So then, and I know you said you were trying to keep rents low, but if you say put in a renovation of the home to bring it into a two-family dwelling, or even then make it a much larger single-family home, would you be able to put in a renovation budget and then be able to sell it and market it for a much greater value than it currently is? And rent the apartments then instead of a lower rent, put in a lot of money to rent them, and now you're getting $2,500, $3,000 for 2 really nice apartments in Victor, that would completely change your rate of return then at that point.
The difficulty is each unit has unusual roof lines and is not, it's not going to be competitive with what's currently available in the rental market. So the upstairs has very small bedrooms. This is the second unit. They're probably 8 by 10 maximum. The kitchen is older, and the bathroom's, sort of minimal type thing. So it would cost a lot of money, and then you'd only end up with a one-bedroom, because you'd have to knock a wall out, I think, to create a big enough bedroom that people would be interested in that as a nicer unit. The main unit on the first floor, you could renovate the bath and make that nicer. The kitchen would have to be renovated. You'd probably, kitchen and bathroom renovations have gone through the roof, so you're probably looking minimum 15,000 for a bathroom renovation today, and probably 30,000 minimum for a kitchen renovation. So if you made these improvements, the building itself's 1860 or something like that. Structurally, it has lower roof lines. It's not, current to what people's expectations are. So I think you'd be spending a lot of money and maybe not getting a full return on what you put in.
Good for now. Larry?
Have you had any trouble renting it in the last 4 years?
The only trouble I've had is, this is a crazy intersection where Phillips Road comes right into this property, and people have driven into the house. And so I've had 6 months where I had to renovate the property after a car drove into the house. And so that was one of the times when it was not rented. Besides that, no, it gets rented pretty easily because the prices are lower.
Have you raised the rents at all in the 4 years?
Yes. So when I renovated the lower unit, it moved from $950 up to $1,100.
You tried to raise the rents at all when it's been vacant? In other words, if you're getting $1,100 now from the people who are renting the
Right.
bottom,
Yep.
what do you think you could get?
What's a reason? Well, typically, $100 increase, per new tenant is pretty common. So, and if they were to renew for a year, legally in New York State, you're supposed to keep it to less than 5%. And so, if it's a renewal, you're only looking at a 5% increase, $60 or whatever it might be on 1,100. Whereas,
But let me ask the question a different way.
Yeah.
If it were vacant right now,
yeah,
what would you ask?
probably 1,200 for it.
You wouldn't go any higher,
It's not, the kitchen's not that nice. I don't know. Probably, it's a 2-bedroom, so based on what I'm seeing out there, I probably could get more like 1,400, I would guess. But
and then the
that's
one
a stretch.
upstairs?
What's that?
The one upstairs?
That's going to be less than 1,000. It's just not good. It's not nice. It's got tiny bedrooms.
You haven't had any trouble renting that either, though?
Well, the tenant who's been in there has been in there for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, and I haven't raised the rent because she has cancer.
But if she weren't there,
It'd probably
you would be asking for more?
yeah, maybe 1,050, something like that, yeah.
You're talking maybe another $300 a month between the two of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine, thank
All
you.
right. And there'll be more questions along the line. Leah, questions on this topic?
So in the 4 years you had control of this house, these three units were always rented. You didn't live in any of them? They were always rented?
No, I did not live, they were always rental. My son lived in Unit 1. When I estimated the income, I estimated that he was paying, which he was not. But my son lived in Unit 1 for, I think, between 21 and 22 in Unit 1. The other apartment, we haven't gotten into, has been occupied by family members, and they've never paid rent. That's not legal.
So one unit is occupied by family member, no rent, and 2 units you collect rents?
No, actually,
No.
the 3 units, the 4th illegal unit is where the family member is.
In the barn?
in the barn.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So the other 3 units collect rent.
Okay, clarified that. Are there any, does the house have a garage that the tenants keep their cars in?
No, it has a barn, but the barn is not used.
No,
It's
no.
just, my parents keep some junk in one of them, but that's
Yeah,
about it.
so there's no garage?
No garages, right.
That's all for now.
That's right.
You said it was an older structure. Would it compromise the structure if you were to bring it from the 3 units to the 2?
No, I mean, it's not really practical because the third unit's in the back of the building, and it's not, I think it must be on a crawl space, because the basement is a very old basement. This is an old original farmhouse, and that's underneath Unit 1. And it must be a crawl space under Unit 3, because it's not connected, the basement doesn't go underneath it, so,
And that unit 3 is the 3rd unit?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the one in the back that's not permitted, yeah.
Okay.
Good for now?
So there's actually 4 units. There's one in the garage.
Yes,
So we're just talking about the main building.
right, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
the one in the barn's gone, or off limits. My daughter will move out at the end of the month.
All right, let's get a few more dollars and cents questions. And looking at Encore today, it indicated total assessment is $203,000, land $55,000, fair market value of $303,000. I don't think it's too far off of what your estimates were, but I think it's at least fair enough to look at, again, when you're looking at dollars and cents, some type of proof of what is the property worth.
Right.
So as far as permitted uses, permitted use in that district can be a single family. What would it cost, if any, to convert that dwelling into a single family residence?
So there's a common hallway that you enter into the Unit 1 and 2 and a stairway that goes up. So if you were to just, I mean, I don't think there's much cost to convert it to a one family. They would have 2 kitchen, I mean, it would be sort of nonsensical, but it would have 2 kitchens and, the upstairs. So the upstairs, just to explain, the living room is like, a Cape Cod where the ceilings come down pretty tight. And there's a little kitchenette associated with it, and then a bathroom, and then these 2 little bedrooms, and that's the second floor. So just to make that part of the whole house, I don't know how you would spend money to make it better or create a different, sort of layout for it. I mean, if you just took the kitchen out, you'd have a little bit bigger living room or bedroom, if you wanted to call that, not a bedroom up there. And then you'd have 2 little bedrooms and a bathroom up there.
So
It sounds,
It could not, I'll let you, hold on.
Yeah.
Again, dollars and cents, if someone bought that for, looking at Encore, $300,000, and didn't want to do a 2-family residence, wanted it all to themselves.
Right.
It would cost something to pull a wall out, do something, and you say 2 kitchens. I have memories of my grandmother having 2 kitchens. She cooked a lot. So
Yeah.
there are some houses that have 2 kitchens. It's not uncommon.
Right.
Maybe not. It's not unusual. So do you have a number, though, on what your rough estimate on what it would cost? Are we talking 10,000, 20,000 to convert it? There's a number that if someone wanted that for a single family unit.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't visualize someone wanting it, based on what it is, but to convert it into something, I'd say only $10,000 or $20,000 to make it functional.
And as far as to comply with a 2-family dwelling, I know right now it sounds like it's set up for 3. 2, what's it going to cost? You wanted tend to say, let me put it this way. The board decides to deny your request for a 3-unit use variance. Permitted 2, so what's it going to cost to keep it at 2, or convert it to 2, I should say? Same amount, plus or minus a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I guess trying to figure out access and, you know, if you were going to connect the first floor to that back unit, I don't know, I probably, let's just say $20,000.
Okay. I know, and these are just rough numbers, it's just to plug something in.
Excuse me.
Permitted use is a bed and breakfast, and I don't think you're going in that direction, right? So we're looking at these permitted uses. So on those topics, Leah, questions, concerns?
Well, I was just going to comment earlier, from what you were describing about the second floor, that you said it was like a Cape Cod, it sounds to me that maybe at one time it was a one-family.
I think it was.
Somebody converted it to a two-family. So I think it could be easily converted back to one family. And, you know, Mike said some people have 2 kitchens, but then pull the kitchen out on the second floor. You know, and I think there are some people who would be amenable to buy such a property and do that if it's sold as is to convert.
Larry, you had something to comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned 20,000 to go from 3 to 2, but you could just shut down the third one in the back.
Yes. Yeah. So
I mean, obviously it would waste the space, but.
right, well, and the problem is that you then lose about $8,000 worth of
Yeah.
gross income.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the reasonable rate of return and how we're looking at it. If we're trying to just look at it as a financial statement for just 2025 calendar year or overall for you, because what I'm having a hard time getting past is you said the property was gifted to you by your parents.
Right.
So your purchase price is 0.
Right.
So you can always get a reasonable rate of return just by selling it as a 2-family, as just someone else to renovate. So just from that standpoint, I don't know how to get past or.
If you look at if you look at tax law, when a property is gifted to an individual, it's the base that the giftee, the one who got the gift, received it based on the property that the giftor picked it up at. So if parents bought the property, let's say at $150,000, and now it's currently $250,000, that's the gain.
So
That's
you
the
still
potential
use the
gain that you're
value
looking
that, okay, you're still using the value that his parents purchased the house at then as part of the reasonable rate of return
Right,
then,
you
and
can
not a
look
zero.
at a number of different ways on figuring out what the dollars and cents of, can the applicant get a reasonable return for the property? So one aspect is, what did you buy it for? You didn't buy it, it was gifted, but it's fair then, I think, to look at it that as a gift, the base value of it was what your parents originally paid for it.
I think an argument could be made that the base price is not necessarily what they paid for it, but what the value was at the time they gifted it. I mean, I've seen some tax, capital gains is like that. In other words, if you have a piece of property and you gift it to someone else, for example, if you donate it, the gift then becomes at what it's worth at that time.
Right,
And
I'm
again,
not
tax
sure-
law is completely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm of the notion that it's what I've described earlier, that if the applicant were to sell it today, the capital gains would be based on starting point of what the parents bought it for.
Okay.
Not at the time it was gifted. And I think that's why, and when you look at estates and trust law, that it's done that way, that it creates this legal avenue for the beneficiaries to get the property. It's something that their parents picked it up for. But when you sell it, that's when you get hit with the capital gains.
So then if you sold the house in its current as-is condition, just as a 2-family, based on that, and then what you'd have to pay in capital gains and all the money you put in, would you still be making money on that, or would you ultimately, at this point today, be losing money?
We'd have to be making money. At 140, it sells for 250.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
capital gains, I mean, I don't know what I'd be paying, I mean, I guess we have to ask Donald, but I think 25% of the gain would have to go to capital gains, so then it's a matter of, the balance of that money. I mean, a lot of money gets invested in that property every year, and so, I mean, I did provide you last year's numbers, and it was $27,000 it cost to run that property, and those numbers are straightforward, taxes, insurances, everything that it costs to run a three-family. So, I haven't gained, if I've gained anything, it's basically even because I've got my kids, I had my kids in there, that type of thing, so it wasn't costing me money.
Again, the criteria is it's substantially unable
Right.
to make a reasonable return. What is reasonable is for a board to figure out. It doesn't sound like you're losing money. And you also have, and I appreciate your candor on can you use the property for something that's permitted within the code?
Right.
I think we're all in agreement that three-family is not permitted. That's why you're asking for the use variance. Two-family is, single, so you can do some certain things to either convert it into single, live in it, sell it, do what you like with it.
Right. My understanding is, though, that it's only okay to be a two-family because of the variance that was granted in 85.
No, I don't think that's true.
No, the
It's
R2 district regulations allow for a two-family dwelling.
Oh, okay, thank you.
right. The past, I think what you're referring to is the 1985 variance that was granted. The three-family request was denied. The two-family was approved, but there were certain limitations and conditions on the garage. The variance that was granted on that barn area, it looked like a sunset provision. As soon as the commercial overhead door moved out, it lapsed. So a commercial operation of what they were doing in there, you'd have to apply for another variance.
Yeah.
You can have a two-family in that structure, in the home, not the barn.
Right. Right.
I don't want to cut anybody off. We got any questions about so far where we're at with the topics? All right, Pat?
No, I'm good.
Patrick?
No, you're fine.
All right. All right, let's press on a little bit here. As far as the second piece, the hardship is what they call somewhat unique. It's not close to wetlands, there's no topo issues. Traffic pattern, though, you did mention, is a T intersection that does create some degree of uniqueness. How many motor vehicle accidents have been there as far as whether you've owned it, your parents owned it?
Two that I'm aware of. One since I owned it, and then there was another where they veered off and hit a hot tub and in the house.
Okay. So you told us, let's see, it was gifted to you. We got a purchase price. I think we've established that you got it from your parents, and we got the timeline from Donald Finch, because I think one of your exhibits that you used, the owner's name was Donald Finch, and I'm looking at, it's a history of the property. I'm sorry, history of the purchase. And on that first page, it says the owner's name is Donald Finch. List price was $149,900. Sell price was $136,000. It doesn't really indicate, though, who the buyer is, but I think we know who it is. It was your folks. But it's curious, though. I think it does multi-family residence, 2 to 4 units. It's a bit vague on that part, but whoever input the MLS information, that's on them. Going down, we have, let me ask you this. When did you first realize that your parents were operating a three-family residence rental illegally?
Actually, just when Joe Giano, the building inspector, so that
Okay.
was just back in, I think, November. So there was a complaint by the tenant in Unit 3. He went over there and cited a bunch of issues with that unit that would have to be corrected. And at that point, that was the first time I was aware that that unit was not legal, because he brought it up. He said that that's not a legal unit back there, needs to be closed. And then I knew my parents had done something in the barn that was not, and they didn't get a variance for ahead of
The
time.
variance of 1985, have you seen that?
Yes, it was sent to me,
Okay.
yeah.
When's the first time you were aware of that variance and really the denial of the request for three-family? I know this is
When-
dated 1985, but when
Yeah.
were you aware of it?
When it was sent to me last month.
Okay. So fair to say then, your parents knew, but didn't tell you that? Okay. All right, I think we've touched on the MLS isn't necessarily, hold on one sec. We touched on that Encore and MLS isn't necessarily guaranteed, it's just information. Go ahead, question?
It's possible his parents didn't know.
I don't think so.
Is that possible? I mean,
They made the
that in 20
application.
There's some code enforcement history here, 2017, at least with the barn apartment. They were ordered to discontinue the use as a dwelling. It said at that time it was accomplished, so at some time between now and then it was reestablished. I don't see anything on.
That was the one in the barn, not the one.
Correct. And then there was, I'd have to get into this a little.
I have a
Okay.
date in 2017, his parents, Sri Ron and Pat, were notified that the three-unit apartments were not permitted and were provided with the 1985 resolution.
Okay. I apologize.
So I don't, no, it's fine, it's a good question. All right, I think, again, the rest of, at least the hardship pieces that I have, that we've already touched on. So before we go any further, does anyone, board, have any questions about the hardship pieces on how it is, if at all, that this property is unique compared to the other properties that are within the area? When I mean the area, let's just say within a radius of 2,000 yards. Okay, none? So let's touch on, I think, the overhead view from Encore. The property that's highlighted in yellow, that's the subject property, is that right?
Correct.
So let's go clockwise. And to the north, and this is my map showing to it, that this is due north, that this is the larger piece of property across the street from 251, where my pointer is indicating. Fair to say that that is a light industrial area?
Yeah, it's
And if we go clockwise, across the street from Phillips Road, where I'm pointing, that's also a light industrial area, right? And as we then go across the street at 251, the property then to the east, due east, do you have any idea on what that is there? I think the address is 7653.
It's just a single family.
It's a single family, okay. If we keep going clockwise, this would be on the corner of Deer Crossing. I think the address is 870 Deer Crossing. Single family?
Single family.
And all that in there, in Deer Crossing, all those properties, and looking at, I think it's Creekwood as it goes up, all those properties that are surrounding the subject property, those are all single family. Right? And the only one that I know of that is any kind of, I guess, multiple family is the one that I'm indicating. It looks like there's 4 or 5, looks like mobile or.
Manufactured houses.
As far as I know, I talked to Adam this morning, and that's a non-conforming pre-existing condition. The reason I ask those questions is, in that neighborhood or district, any three families in there? I don't think so. Fair to say? And I ask that because one of the criteria, number 4 is, would the granting of a use variance change the character of the neighborhood? I think arguably, in my mind, I can't speak for the whole board, that putting a three-family in there would. All those other ones are new construction, single-family. If you have something to the contrary, I'd love to hear it.
No, I mean, the only other one I'm aware of is further down, it's a two-family.
Okay, all right. So on those, would a three-family change the character of the neighborhood or hardship? Leah, you got comments about either topic of hardships or really anything, whether it's substantially unique hardship or would it change the character of the neighborhood?
Well, I think being that it's all, and you pointed out, all these are one family, you know, with the exception, you said one further down was a two-family. It really doesn't seem to me that a two or even especially a three-family is in place there. Because, and it seems to me that this probably was a one-family house at one time. And then somebody converted it to two and then made that section in the back into a three-family. You know, so I think at the very least, it should be a two-family, but preferential one-family.
Okay. Larry?
I don't disagree.
Okay. Matt?
I'm not trying to give any credence to it being illegal and existing, but since it's there, just in regards to the character of the neighborhood and it already being there and existing, I guess, in part of the neighborhood versus it being a use trying to allow it, I completely get a three-family home wouldn't fit within the character of the neighborhood, but it's kind of already in the neighborhood. So I'm just trying to balance that without giving any credit for like, well, it's been illegally being used as the three families, so you can't really necessarily give it credit. So I'm just kind of balancing that for that specific portion
You
of
asked
it.
for it in 1985.
Yep.
They, meaning the property owners, and it was denied.
Mm-hmm.
And there was opposition, public opposition to it. And the standard that an applicant has to show is that you cannot get a reasonable return. So
Yes.
whether it's there or not, and it's been there illegally for some time, is a bit,
Okay.
it's not even irrelevant. It's contra to what should be
Correct.
shown.
I'm still really on the first criteria, the
Okay.
reasonable rate of return. I'm really not past that at all at this point.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
just saying on that very specific question about the character of the neighborhood,
Got it.
that was it. Haven't moved on. Like, in my head, the fact that I think you could sell the home and get a rate of return on that one, I think, even if you don't want to do it, I think that makes it very difficult to get past that first criteria, and I think it's been set up that way, unfortunately, that it's just incredibly, incredibly difficult to actually meet the standards to get there, unfortunately.
Okay.
You summarized it well.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, so I think we're at a point, and it is, I'm not rushing you. Right? We've gone through a lot. You've been incredibly patient for all of the other applicants that were before you. If you want to continue, you certainly can. If you want to say, boy, I'd like to have an opportunity to provide more information, now that you know, I think, more of what we're looking at,
Right.
the choice is yours.
Right.
Ask for some more time. You can say, no, I think I'm going to take my chances, let the board vote. Or you can say, you know what, I think I'm going to withdraw it. Because there's consequences of a board voting and having and have you made variance applications before? Okay, so if a variance is denied, there's a period of time when you can't ask for the same variance again.
Okay.
If you withdraw it, you can ask for the application or the variance sooner.
Okay.
So there's consequences to either or. And there's
Right.
times, again, I've had applicants say, boy, I need to think about it. This is your application. We're giving you a chance to,
Right.
where do you want to go with this?
I think, just based on all I've learned tonight, I'm going to withdraw it,
Okay?
and then I'll try to figure out what I'm going to do with the property.
Okay. All I ask then is send an email to Amber, just formally saying, we got it here, but we usually just like to dot our i's, cross the t's. Send an email saying, I thought about it, I'm going to withdraw it, and
Okay.
take whatever course you're going to take next.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Good.
All
All right,
right.
thanks so much for your time and
Okay.
patience.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Anything else before the board? Hearing anything? Chris, thank you for coming. You good? Questions? We can talk after if need be. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
Great, thanks so much. You people have been great. Good questions.